You're now listening to the Sauce Talk Podcast. What up, everybody? It's your boy Al Siggity Sauce, and welcome back to the Sauce Talk Podcast. Today's guest is one of the biggest retro video game influencers on social media in the Northeast. A man who possesses great passion for the community and is always trying to give back any chance he can get. When he's not posting his rare finds on social media, he also doubles as an elevator technician, as well as organizes some of the best massive retro video game themed events, amongst other things. One thing that is personally special to me is he also is a co-owner of a place that's near and dear to my heart that was a big part of my childhood. Clifton's own Breaker Billiards. An interesting man with an interesting story. Ladies and gentlemen, Baam. Mr. Baamonde.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for coming, man. It was an effort to get you in the seat.
Total workaholic, spend all my money, so ergo I'm always working.
Yeah, you're a sick fuck.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
I got some problems.
I want to get into the early Baam. Where did you grow up, Jay? You grew up in Halden, right?
Well, so the whole family were from the Bronx. Moved out when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Went from the Bronx to Wayne, which was, I guess, a great
culture shock,
you know. But I was so young that it kind of, it was no big deal for me. But I grew up obviously having a heavy New Yorker, experience, and then being raised out. And at the time, because I'm 41 at the time, Wayne, New Jersey, which was a little less congested back then. You know what I mean? So it was interesting, and it was for the most part, let's just say Northern Jersey. My whole life bounced back and forth. Went from Wayne, lived in Edgewater for like 12 years. Yeah, Cliffside Park.
Jesus.
Yeah, then I guess about 8 years ago, we finally bought a house, and we bought the house in North Halden, which is
where you currently reside.
I guess in case I got any stalkers out there, I can give you the address later.
Also, I thought you grew up there as well.
Well, it's so close to Wayne.
It is. It's right there.
So a lot of my friends were Passaic County Tech high school kids, so I had friends in Halden, North Halden, Prospect Park,
Yeah,
I was all over the place with that.
All in the surrounding areas.
Somewhat of a social butterfly.
Yeah, you're right next to Patterson, too. Right next.
Yeah.
You got to go through it to get to you for the most part.
Good times.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Before I get into the games with you, I'm really interested in your career and what you do for your normal, well, it's not even normal. I couldn't even call it normal, but your normal 9 to 5, if you will. You're an elevator technician. I've never met anyone in my life until I met you that was an elevator technician. How did you get involved in that? It seems like a very, very involved and intensive job.
I have a pretty interesting background with the elevator industry as a whole. So
really,
I'm third generation.
No shit.
Yeah. So my grandfather, when he immigrated from Spain, he went from Spain to Cuba, and they got into New York from Cuba. Got into the Union Local 1 elevator. My whole family worked for Surge Elevator, which doesn't exist anymore. But Surge Elevator was a big player in the local New York scene. And then around 81, my father started his own company, which was Ace Elevator. It became the largest independent in the country.
Wow.
We had the World Trade Center as the contract. And if it wasn't for 9/11,
wow, you'd still have
I'd
that.
still have which I'd have to assume would remain the largest independent in the country. And now I'm, back to my roots. I started out in the field. My first job was working at his shop. On my summer breaks, I was 11, refurbishing elevator parts.
That's how old were you when you started doing that?
I'm literally 11. Like, the summer break, a lot of kids, just did their thing. My father believed in raising, I guess, quote unquote, a man.
Right? Yeah, hardworking individual.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that what they call now in 2023?
I'm sure they call it something else.
I'm sure.
Most kids are streaming all day.
Yeah. So it's literally I'm 41. I can make an honest statement by saying I've been in this industry myself 30 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, my responsibility level has increased since the age of 11. But.
Does that field require any sort of certification, like an electrician, for instance?
So so I'm local one, right? So I'm a part of an international union.
Okay.
And we have an apprenticeship program. So you can start, at any local throughout the country and into Canada with zero experience. Let's say you're lucky enough that you can get in at age 18, right?
Yeah.
We call them green. When you first start out, you're green. You don't know anything, and that's okay because you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
You're going to immediately be assigned a head mechanic, technician, and depending on what department you're in, and they're going to start to teach you the trade. And then you'll go through union-based schooling for like a 5-year period.
Oh, okay.
And once you pass your mechanics exam, then that's it. The world is yours, baby.
So I'm assuming you have to do that when you're of age, when you're 18, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been an easy breeze for you since you've been doing it since 11.
Well, I mean, the job scope from age 11 to 18 was very different as it is now from 41.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was putting parts on shelves in a shop.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because, I got brought up where like Christmas conversations when the family was over, we were so layered in the industry. They were talking about elevator problems while people were getting saucy over the 7-fish dinner. Yeah,
that's interesting. The 7-fish dinner, that's right. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I would assume at least like you were up on the lingo, you knew all the parts. So
the jargon is the jargon is.
It's more of like I'm just putting these pieces together, all these seeds that we're planting my whole life. Yeah. I could build that forest now.
And God willing, someday maybe I'll actually be good at the job.
So I mean, it seems like a very tough job and a lot of hours. Yeah. Obviously, it was tough to get you here because you're always getting called out in emergency calls and. The whole thing.
It's the type of industry, man, where you kind of accept it's part of the culture that you're going to work a lot.
Yeah.
My average weeks range from the beautiful weeks where it's 40 hours a week to 70, 80-hour weeks.
Jesus Christ.
This year alone, we're, just not to put a timestamp on this, but, it is the 10th of December.
Yeah.
And I'm well north of 2,600 hours for the year.
Oh, my God.
So it's a lot.
It's exhausting.
It is. The compensation is excellent, as far as trades are concerned. So you kind of get over it.
It sounds like a really dangerous job.
It is. It is. It's funny coming from the elevator multi-generational experience because I got raised by what you would call a cowboy.
Uh-huh.
I've done some incredibly dangerous.
I'm sure.
Can I say shit? I don't know.
Oh, you can curse.
Thanks,
say
fucking
fuck,
God.
Cunt, cock.
All right,
say it all, baby.
I've done some crazy shit earlier in my career, and it's funny because I do work for a larger corporation now, and they're very, very big on safety. So it was kind of a culture shock when I got out of the independent world going into the corporate world. But you definitely could die quick.
Yeah. What's the most? If you could put like a top moment that was like the most
I came
the scariest.
I came close
for you.
Oh yeah. So I try not to bore people with technical stuff, but some elevators have what we call a shiv on top of the elevator. Okay. A shiv is basically just a wheel.
Okay.
And there's like two types of like elevators really. It's ones that run off of cables and ones that run off of like hydraulic pistons. And the one I'm talking about is a cable.
Which is the one like in movies that you see
like
mostly.
The big ones, right? Yeah. But this one's what we would call a 2-to-1 because you had a cable go from top of car, on that wheel, right? Yeah. And it would go up, down, back around. It's a little hard to explain.
Like a pulley system.
It's a pulley system, but the fact that you actually had moving cable on top of the elevator is what made this one particularly dangerous.
Oh,
so it was an apprentice. It was a young apprentice, and we were working on the elevator, me and a mechanic, and the mechanic got back to the room and realized that got report that the elevator was still shut down. So, he just wanted me to check it out. And what was shutting the elevator down was that we had a top of car escape hatch, and there was like a little switch on that. And if that switch is broken, the elevator can't make. So I grab the cable, I climb over the steel on top of the elevator. I jump down on the escape hatch just to take a look. And when I jumped down, I made that switch up. So now the car goes off on high speed.
Oh, my God.
I was holding on to the cable, and the cable end that I was holding on to was the cable end that would be going up, right? So as the elevator is going up, this cable's actually going up as well because you have this 2-to-1 ratio for cables. So I get up about 5 feet over the elevator and I let go and I drop down on the side of my ribs. And not to fall off the elevator, I grab the goddamn fucking cable again. And I go up another 5 or 6 feet and I let go and I land on the same spot. And then I was able to hit a stop switch in a panic.
Oh my God.
And it was completely my fault. Because, I was young and I should have taken some more safety procedures.
Yeah.
And I learned almost the hardest way, right? And yeah, that was almost lights out. Because if I went off that elevator, I was 19, 20 stories in the air. That was actually the Galaxy Towers in Guttenberg, New Jersey.
Really?
There's the 3 towers you see when you're driving down the West Side Highway and you look over to Jersey.
Holy shit.
So I almost bought it, man.
Wow.
And then the other craziest one, which I didn't die on, but it was fucking lunacy. Back when I was an apprentice, I was working mechanic, and we have these jaws that come out on the bottom of an elevator, stop it from free falling.
Okay.
And this one elevator, it was a construction phase. There were going to be 3 elevators built. One we were working on that had a running platform. That's when there's no walls up or anything. It's just a moving platform. And the one that we were testing with the inspector went on safety in the very top of the shaft. It's almost impossible to get that off safety at that height.
Yeah.
So we had to take like a 20-foot ladder, go from elevator 1 platform over the non-existing elevator 2 shaftway to the very top of the elevator 3. So we went straight across.
Wow.
With a few hundred pounds of equipment back and forth, no safety gear, no fall gear, and I don't care who you are, man. Don't look down; you will shit your pants.
Yeah, I would. I'm scared of heights.
I cringe when I think about that. So yeah, I've done some weird, crazy shit.
Yeah, that sounds like a scary job, and it should pay well because
it was very. I'm no millionaire, but we do get compensated because you can. Lights out.
Yeah. Well, we could thank the elevator gods because that's what's fueling your gaming addiction, or at least most of it.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, a healthy one, I think.
Well, I've had other addictions, so this one's healthier for sure.
Well, this is uncensored, so you can say whatever you want.
As I sip on Johnny Walker Black, right?
Yeah, salud, man. I'm drinking 40 ounces of Moscow Mule.
Chinned out.
So thinking back. When did you first fall in love with video games? Like, what are some of the earliest moments you could think of when it comes to you and your love for video games?
Well, we're relatively close in age, and I feel like our generation was how can I say this? Being an early 80s baby, at that point, the Atari generation really kind of created the foothold, and it became commonplace, right? So my sister had an Atari 2600. She was 7 years older than me. My first console was her console.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then, we got the NES, because that came out in 85. So by like 86, 87, that was the thing in our house. And I would say I didn't fall in love with it. It was our experience.
Yeah.
Right. I think for it to really become impactful for me, was when I was about 20 years old. I was walking down St. Mark Street in Manhattan, East Village. And I was a young baby chef. I did that for a little while before I went full elevator. And before I had to go to work, I wanted to kill some time. And I walked past this repair shop that like 3 steps down, one of those situations in New York. And I look in a window and they refurbished an NES, which was mystical to me at that time because I didn't know all the inner workings of all these consoles. And I saw that and I said, holy shit, I want that back in my life. And that's where it started. That was the moment. I got it back, and then, of course, the first thing I did was run home and try to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out because I saved that one cartridge from my childhood.
I still have mine.
It's my favorite game.
Me too.
And it didn't work because I didn't realize I had to clean the contacts on the board and all the shit you have to learn. And, but that was the moment. And then once I figured that all out, then it was like, okay, well, I want Mario 3 back. I want all of these things back.
Yeah.
And then it turned into... I want the things that I always wanted, never had.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, I can't stop learning about this stuff, and I want to experience all the other things that were out there.
Yeah, of course, and snowballs.
And it got really substantially bad.
When you were growing up, though, I was going to ask you what your first console was, but clearly you said since you had your sister, the Atari was, and the NES. Do you have any memories, special moments, whether it's like playing multiplayer with a certain group of friends or a certain game that makes you feel warm when you think about it? Not later on in life, during that time frame, like when you were in middle school or
totally
something.
Dropped the ball already by talking Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but I think it's probably the one I'm going to talk about first.
That's great. I love that game
My
so
father,
much.
my grandfather, my uncles, people prior to them in our family, every one of us boxed. Right? You know what I mean? Like every single Baamonde out there
Wow.
at some point got punched in the face or
So
something.
you got a long history with it.
Yeah. And my father was a tough street guy from the Bronx, you know, ex-boxer.
Awesome.
And the only video game he ever played in his life
Was Mike Tyson.
Punch-Out
Wow.
with me. So the first and foremost, that one, you know. And,
Yeah.
you know, I love it for that. And I always thought it was amazing to see this hard ass of a man, you know, like moving with the controller, you know what I mean? And like making noises and grunting.
That's awesome to see that. Especially when he didn't like video games.
No, he didn't. He did none of that. You know, he was a very stoic guy.
Yeah.
You know? And so that'll always be it. And then I remember the other one that was kind of cool was I had one of my friends, this guy John, that I went to elementary school with, and we saved up all our change we can get, and we bought my Mortal Kombat together. It was our game for the Game Boy.
Oh, that one.
You know what I mean? So we did that a few
terrible.
times. Yeah, we did it. It was horrible, but it was great at the time. But we joined in and saved up our our chore money and actually bought games together, and we would share them. You know, I mean, we would go back and forth. Like that Mortal Kombat was ours. Okay, so John had it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Shout out to John.
yeah, John, good guy, man. I haven't
that's
seen him
awesome.
in years though, but it was cool. You know.
My first system was an NES.
Yeah.
And the two games that I loved the most were Super Mario 3, because I had that.
The greatest game ever.
And
made.
I think this game is so underrated. I loved Super Mario 2.
So do I. It's a fantastic
It is
game.
the trippiest. It's like Halloween 3 in the Halloween series.
I have a tattoo of it on the back of my
I
leg.
love that game, dude.
Yeah, I'll show you the tattoos later.
Sweet. Yeah, I love that game so much. But Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, I was 5 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my mom got me that, and I was just glued. I still, to this day, never beat it. I never beat Mike. He's fucking hard as shit.
I beat it at 7.
Oh, did you?
And then it took me like 10 years later to do it again. I had one moment where I did it.
He was tough, man.
Yeah, it sucked.
Once you figure out the pattern and stuff and the timing, but like as a kid, I couldn't.
But it's your game to lose. You know, you can know the pattern and you can get good with the timing. But it's if you screw up once, it's over.
Yeah. I still have the cartridge as we were talking about. And I even have, do you remember those Nintendo Mario name label stickers?
Oh, yeah.
So my Punch-Out has my name label sticker on it. It says Albert on it.
I actually framed mine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually gave it to my dad for Christmas. Now, unfortunately, he passed a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's life. You know, he always told me it would be unnatural if I went before him. So I always think of that every time I get misty-eyed. But I framed it and I gave it to him one year because he was a boxer. Mike Tyson was,
yeah, of course,
one of his guys.
Yeah.
So I framed it and now it's back on my wall.
I would love a complete one.
I can help you out with that.
Yeah. They go for a little bit, not crazy, but they go.
It's conditioned now with them, but the market itself is crazy now. I'm sure we'll touch on that later.
Yeah. Since you've been playing games for so many years and you've went through them all, starting at Atari, is there a particular console that you like more than others?
Yeah.
What is that?
Three consoles more than others, all for very different reasons. But I will start with my favorite of all time for all around. It's got to be Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
the library is massive.
It is.
It's massive.
Quality library too.
Majority quality. Music is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I'm a certain age, so certain consoles. But, when I think of a company doing everything right, I think Super Nintendo was
I can't deny that.
So that's why Super Nintendo would be there. I also had this love affair for TurboGrafx 16, but that was because I never had it. So and my favorite is one that maybe a lot of people who might be listening to this have no idea what it is the Vectrex.
Oh, yeah. But you do have that, that's right. You have everything. Yeah. You got it all. The
Vectrex is a really interesting piece. So it's
weird.
It's very weird, just like me. And it's, and it was born in 82, just like me.
Yeah.
It was there was this company out in California. It was a young startup, and they had bought this warehouse. I believe that's the backstory of it. And they had like hundreds of spare Vector monitors.
Really?
Right. And that's how it started. They didn't intend to do the Vectrex. They kind of just walked into like,
wow,
holy shit, we have all these monitors. Yeah. And they built this basically TV sideways.
It's weird.
Right. It's sideways. Weird. And they built the TV is the console.
Yeah, it's very awkward.
It's black and white because it's vector graphics, right? There's no color to it. But then they have this lens that you put on per game. So each game had this colored lens. And is it the greatest gameplay in the world? Absolutely not. It's Wild West,
but it's special to you.
A very, very cool piece.
And it's nice to, even if you don't like this system or appreciate it. Like, I actually hate Atari, but it's legendary. Without the Atari, we wouldn't have NES. We wouldn't have this, you know. So I appreciate it, even though I don't enjoy it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
My favorite console is the Genesis.
That's a good one.
I guess it's just, you know, even though it felt the cheapest, like, to me, when you touch that console, it feels very cheap. When you touch an SNES, it's light years different. The plastic is better. Just overall, it's just a better feeling console when you're handling it. But I just loved the game library of Genesis. They took more chances.
Well, they definitely did.
More adult-oriented games.
Well, and that's why now, especially now, I feel like the Genesis speaks to us more now because of what you just touched upon. You know, they were going for the teenager angst.
Yeah.
Right? That's how they marketed it.
I loved that system.
Greatest time to be a gamer.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
It was the greatest time. You know, you get into that era between the console war between NES, Super NES, and Genesis, and you're like, these were two companies that were really, truly going at each other.
Yeah.
Like, what prior to recent happenings between PlayStation and, you know, Microsoft and Sony.
Yep.
Prior to please explain to me really the true difference between the library of a PS3 and a library of an Xbox 360. Please explain to me the difference. You know, like they got to a place where they were doing the same thing, and then they had a few niche things. These guys were at each other's throats.
Oh yeah,
trying to up each other.
Yeah, Xbox 360 had a lot of good exclusives. Which a lot of these things, that stuff dies out, it seems. They don't, because they want to make money. Yeah. So if they can only make it available as an exclusive, the chance of them making, it can make double if you have.
But if you go back in time and you look at what was going on between, you know, Sega and Nintendo at that time, I mean, that was a real war.
It was. And it was exciting though. It was awesome to watch them go head to head with the different accessories and the commercials bashing each other, the magazine ads and the game pros and you know, all this stuff.
The marketing was brilliant.
Oh my God.
You know, them constantly trying to stick with the Genesis and constantly reinvent it with all their peripherals and different versions. And it was cool.
The Tower of Power.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I loved Mortal Kombat. You know, I had Mortal Kombat for Super NES and Genesis. But obviously everybody goes to the Genesis one because of the blood. But I gotta say, man, the SNES one is far superior as far as gameplay, mechanics, looks, everything.
Yes, 100%.
It's a shame they couldn't.
It's a better game.
Way better.
And I could make the argument that just because they removed the violence slightly, I could make the argument that it's a super unique version because their fatalities were completely different than every other version. Yeah. So I guess in itself, it stands out.
Yeah, that's true.
I was lucky because at that time my parents split, so I got that whole divorce shit going on. So I had a Sega at his house and I had a Super Nintendo at mine. So
that's a great way to make light of an awkward situation.
Yeah, you know,
you get double the gifts, baby.
Fuck it, man. You know, I had 2 Mortal Kombats.
Hell yeah, yeah. I loved my favorite, probably one of my favorite games of all time is Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, fantastic.
Dude, I was listening to the soundtrack the other day. Like, I'll drive around listening to that soundtrack. That's how fucking good it is. And Kid Chameleon, those two were
awesome games.
Unbelievable games.
I actually have a piece I got to bring over. I went out to Portland in September for.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up later.
Sure we are, and I won't give too much away.
Yeah, don't give too much.
But I ran into Retro Gamer Brazil, and that's his name on Instagram.
His handle or whatever.
His handle. You know, he's go figure. He's originally from Brazil, which has got an incredible game collecting scene, and we can get into that later too.
Nice.
But I ran into him, and his friend was there, and they actually made a Streets of Rage Street Fighter edition. So I bought a Sega Genesis game when I was there, which we call homebrews.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we can get into that, what those are. But this is a game that was made like months ago for a console that's, 20, 30 years old. And they took the Street Fighter characters and they put it onto the Streets of Rage game.
Is it fun?
I haven't played it yet. I have to assume it is because Streets of Rage is awesome.
The best, man. The absolute best. I want to go through some consoles with you. Not all of them, but a good chunk. And I want you to tell me your top 5 favorite games for each console.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's very horrible. If you can't do it, you could say I give up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give up now. I mean. What I can do is I could talk to you, and I would say that let's talk about where my interests lie now.
Okay.
Right? I am done with modern gaming.
Fully.
I
can't. Why is that?
I made the conscious decision to hone into what I love. Right? I'm a preservationist, and I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are younger that are going to jump all over modern gaming, and they're going to do what they can to protect it. But I am a physical copy guy.
So am I.
I do not like downloadable content because it'll disappear. I think it's not right to the consumer.
Yeah.
I also did enjoy the fact that you had to be with somebody to do gameplay.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it'd be pretty hard for me because, I'm done.
That's why I have this multiplayer.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I love that. That is true. I mean, I'm a physical guy. I still buy cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Still buy vinyl every once in a blue.
It's a generational thing.
Yeah. I can't do the digital.
I just think I look at gaming as art.
That's exactly what it is.
Legitimately do. To the point where I'm sure we could talk about it later. I dealt in the New York City art scene with the collecting. And it really aggravates me that you can have these human beings, many human beings, who are artists in their own right, from the engineers, from the musicians, from the storytellers, from the voiceover actors, all these, the coders.
Goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. And they're all artists. Maybe I'm partial to that because I work a trade, but I see art in everyone's work.
I totally agree with you.
And what pisses me off about the concept of modern gaming is that shit's going to disappear.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Most of it's going to disappear.
Yeah. It is remarkable, some of these games. I mean, when you play a game like Ghost of Tsushima,
I heard nothing but good things.
Jesus Christ, dude. The new God of War. When you play this, and you're like, wow.
I love it. The other thing, too, I think is just the schedule. Right?
Well, these games require so much time now.
And I love it. I'm all for it. I'm not trashing it in any way. But, I'm adulting.
You gotta direct your focus.
Yeah,
I'm be smart about
2,600 hours a year running a business, and
yeah, it's tough, man.
So there's no God of War. 80 hours now for me.
I know. Well, since you just said obviously you're gonna stay in the retro gaming world, right?
Hardcore.
What's your appreciation and love like for arcade games?
Oh, that's bread and butter for us.
Any favorites? Any particular arcade games that you love so much? Any arcades that you love to go to?
Frequent? There's frequent. That kind of got hard.
When you were younger.
Yeah, younger. Fun and games.
My love for that place.
All right, so let me flip the script here real quick. So Willowbrook Mall in Wayne, New Jersey, had Fun and Games, which was an incredible arcade. It was really jamming. So I'm gonna ask Al a question. Al, how much do you love Fun and Games in Wayne, New Jersey?
I can't even. It's in my blood, man. That time frame, that time period, the memories I have with it, the nostalgia attached to it. It's just I can't even describe in words what that place means to me.
Would you go as far as to say you had someone make a model of the front of the exterior of the place?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. I wish I should have brought it out so you could see it.
It's awesome.
When you see it in person, it takes you back of standing in front of that place, smoking cigarettes. You have 50 gothic people here, awesome. 40 punks over here, 50 bloods and crips over here, and everybody got together harmoniously.
No exaggeration. All the wonderful people out there that may be listening to this later. Yeah. That era of society was a very good time.
Yeah.
Because you'd go down there and you had to socialize, you understood how to interact with people. You'd have to walk up to a total stranger and talk shit, and everyone knew that it was just about the game.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
That was the best time. Even Justin Wong used to frequent there and play. You had all these showcase cabinets on the left side when you walked in. It had all the Marvel vs. Capcom and the dance consoles. They got all the Japanese stuff before. And we'd go there every weekend. There'd be mobs of 100-something people outside. You can't really describe in words what it was like. You really had to be there. It was a special time, man.
I made a ton of money at air hockey.
Oh, did you? You
I kicked your fucking ass in air hockey.
They had good. I was
straight up hustler. But there were others, but that one, hits the most, right? That was for us. Then they had a really good one at Wayne Hills Mall.
Oh, that was a good one. I forget the name of it, though.
It was small. Fun Palace, was it?
Oh, that was the name of it?
And then But then I think about the other things too. We live really close to New York, New York family. I was in New York all the time, especially in that era when I can go off and fuck off by myself.
Yeah.
Chinatown.
Yeah, I never got to experience that.
Chinatown, a serious arcade scene.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. And, I'm trying to think of Barcode.
Yeah, I never been there either.
That was another
Broadway City Arcade. I've been with the cards. That was weird to me.
Yeah.
I have a card and I just refill the card. I was like, whoa. Like at the time, nobody was doing that.
Not to have 1,000 quarters in your pocket.
Yeah. What about Bloomfield?
Bloomfield was good.
Do you remember that one?
I do remember that
Electric Circuit?
I also remember distinctly, we went on a family vacation. I think it was like 7. And we went down to Sanibel, Florida.
Okay.
And I was so excited that I just wouldn't stop playing, even though I had to piss. I actually pissed my pants in an arcade. How excited that? So should I sum it up at how much?
Yeah, please.
I love arcade games that I literally pissed myself.
Yes, please.
Rather than stop playing.
In detail, I want to. Which game was it?
I think it was. God, man, that may elude me. I mean, I was pissing myself. I feel like that was a traumatic experience. Let me tell you how excited my South Bronx boxing father was about that.
Man.
But yeah.
The fuck you doing, kid?
What the fuck are you doing?
You can't hold your piss.
I don't know. Maybe I'm painting him in a poor light here. This is the same guy. Do you remember when we did a road trip down to Virginia and I was about the same age? I had to take a leak. So, he was obviously aggravated. We had to stop on the highway. So I'm just on the side of the road. And midstream, he screams, "Hurry up. The cops are coming." So I piss all over my shoes, and he just laughed the whole time. Probably 45 minutes after that, just laughed.
Damn. Because he was the cause of it. He knows
yeah, he loved it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, but those are special times. But like I said, especially funny games. And you saw that patch I recently got?
I love that, dude.
Did you see that? I said a real one, man.
I actually follow people on Instagram. There's a lot of people who don't. Like, I actually try to keep up with people's lives.
Yeah, I'm surprised because you're so busy. I'm surprised you're even able to do that.
Well, I mean, it just became second nature, right? Instagram isn't what it used to be and the reach isn't there. But I got so absolutely accustomed to communicating with so many thousands of people throughout the world in this that I can multitask and stay relevant on that whilst doing everything else and not have it consume me. That's the lesson that I learned. Early on, it really consumed me.
Yeah. So growing up, obviously, we all loved games and stuff like that. And we briefly touched on it before. And you said that when you were 20, that's when you had that situation where you saw that NES in the city, whatever. So I guess since that was the birth of you collecting again, or actually collecting for the first time, that's probably the birth of your social media presence, right? Would that coincide with it?
No, not at all. I never had social media. And to be very clear, I have just Facebook in addition to Instagram, and I don't fucking use it.
Yeah,
like I never had this desire to do anything with social media. It was like 2016.
Oh, that's when you started.
Yeah, I'm a very social guy.
Yeah,
I know hundreds of people.
Very, very extrovert.
Yeah, extreme to the extreme. You guys see me on coke; it's even worse.
But, you should have brought some.
Well, boy, I wish it wasn't Sunday. So I never needed that in my life. And I don't know, for some reason, I kind of just had this itch one day where I was like, maybe I should go and try to meet other like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a great decision. I really blew up really quick. Really fast. Because I was doing really interesting stuff. I started by posting pictures of things that I loved in my collection
out in the wild.
In the wild, yeah. And at the time I was a New York City mechanic, and that's why I can never replicate that experience again.
Yeah,
because I was taking pictures of the pizza guy at Patsy's holding up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I was taking pictures of being on top of buildings in the middle of Manhattan on rooftops. I was in these industrial settings and.
Caught wind.
Yeah, and it kind of snowballed, but it was great because for the first time in my life, I wasn't just relinquished to meeting certain people in some game stores.
Yeah.
And and a lot of my friends, I'm out there, I'm vivacious, I'm big in the club scene, I'm big in the bar scene. I was always out and about.
Social butterfly.
I didn't fit the mold that people thought you had as a game collector.
Yeah.
I didn't fit that mold. I was out there, man.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And I met wonderful people throughout the world because of it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. Thank God for the internet in most instances.
When used properly, it's an amazing
it's a gift
tool.
and a curse.
Well, listen, are you on YouTube because you're looking at mindless shit, or are you trying to educate yourself?
Yeah.
And that's a really big point that no one's. I've never talked about this publicly, but we just fell into it, so let's run with it.
Yeah.
Right, like you sit there and you can really improve your life, or you can really destroy it.
Choice
on how
is
you
yours.
spent your time.
Choice is yours.
You have the Library of Alexandria at your fingertips,
Literally,
or you have like the most depraved Pornhub. I've done both.
I mean, retrospectively, like just thinking when we were kids, you had magazines was like.
My Nintendo Power Collection is a great thing.
You're like,
oh
shit. You're looking at it. You're like, wow. Like, oh man, this is coming out. Yeah. Like now, it's like
it's here.
Yeah,
and that was the great aspect of it. Back to socialization. If you wanted to play a game you didn't own, you had to know somebody.
Yeah,
and then you had to go to their place. And if you wanted to learn some tip, you had to go buy a magazine, and you actually had to read.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I could not go back in time. Like everyone likes to romanticize about how No, I'm pretty accustomed to using GPS and being able to find out any answer that I need.
Agreed.
But you did have to earn it.
Yeah, kids now they don't understand how easy they really have it.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, they really don't understand how easy, and it's gonna get maybe in 20 years they're gonna say the same thing about the kids in that time period, which is crazy to think about.
Because I've been working since such a young age, and my job always made me have to travel. It used to be a badge of honor because I knew every goddamn neighborhood from here to the Flatlands in Brooklyn, all the way up from here to Poughkeepsie.
Like a map quest.
I was the original dum-dum, right? Like, I knew it, man. You told me I knew how to get there. Mm-hmm. There's no badge of honor now, It's because technology, man.
Everybody, no one gets lost. The power we have in our phone.
If you get lost now,
you're a jerk off.
Jesus Christ, man.
You're a fucking jerk off if you get fucking lost. One thing, back to the social media and how you started snowballing and getting your notoriety. One thing that I found that was really cool is your early video game setups that you would put out in the street at wee hours of the night. Can you tell me how that came about and some interesting stories? Because I'm sure playing on the streets in Manhattan.
I got to go one.
Go for it.
I got to go one.
How did you start? What was that? Where'd that idea come from? And how are you running on a generator?
I was doing an AC inverter off of my car battery. But so the way it started was, back to photos and Instagram being photocentric at the time.
Yeah.
I started to decide to myself, I'm like, how can I step up my photos? And I have a love affair for CRT TVs, the old vintage televisions.
Yeah.
I treat gaming like, fine wine paired with a great dish at a restaurant. Like if you have this console, it should be on that same era TV.
I understand.
So when I was taking these pictures, just seeing a black screen on a dead TV didn't really do it for me. So I was like, why? I think I want a picture of a TV on a sidewalk in some random Manhattan street running. So I bought an AC converter.
That's crazy.
And I did it. And I said, well, why don't I just put up a folding table and just let strangers come up and play?
Yeah.
And that's really how it started.
That's really cool.
And I called it On the Road with Classics. That's what I called it. Back when hashtags were actually a thing.
On the Road with Classics.
So if you look up On the Road with Classics and like on Instagram, you'll see a lot of those.
That's really, I found you after this.
Yeah. Happened. Well, after that,
Yeah.
My favorite story with that was there was this gamer that was coming in from California, another collector. And, couldn't wait to meet him. So I met him for dinner. It was a Tuesday night. Now, mind you, I work all the time. So it's Tuesday night. Now it's like 8 o'clock, and we are at 19th and 9th. So we're down in Chelsea. I say, hey, you want to do something fun? So I set up a PS1, and I set up a Super Nintendo on a table. And all of a sudden, I just, right on the street, and the crowds just start forming. And I've got like 100 strangers. And this is where it gets, this is going to be somewhat long, but worth telling.
No, go. You've got all the time in the world.
We set up, and it's to the point where I've got every person under the sun there, right? I've got a demographic that is just, it was incredible. I literally had drug dealers with people from Kansas, from Kansas.
What time of the day was this?
This was now around 9, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night.
Wow.
And these are just people living their lives,
Yeah.
And so I have a guy roll up on a stolen bike. Ask me how I know. I know because it was pink and it was for a girl.
Yeah.
You know, he rolled up and he was living over in the projects over there in Chelsea, which people don't realize Manhattan does have that shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, yo, I fucking love what you're doing so much, man. Let me thank you. He slaps a few grams of herb in my hand.
Wow.
On a handshake. Now, at the time, that was not legal in New York.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, thanks, man. No, I'm not going to turn him down. I don't know this guy. Of
course, yeah.
I slipped in my pocket. Thanks. So then all of a sudden, another guy in a very similar, I guess career choices felt the same way. So now he slaps my hand. Now, I don't see this one coming. As a thank you, he slides a gram of Coke in my hand.
Bingo.
Yeah, it was a bango, right?
Bingo.
Woo, wow, this just got good. Now, the guy that I'm with, from California, he's like, this guy was like a piece of like a Wonder Bread. He ain't ever done shit.
So he's like fucking freaking
But
out.
here's where it gets really wild. I got like 50 people. I got these TVs rolling. The handshake just happens. The thank you happens. I open up my hand because I don't know what's in my hand because he didn't announce it. And I look down, and as I'm looking at the bag of cocaine in my hand, NYPD rolls up. So I make a quick fucking fist with my right hand.
Yeah.
And these two cops come. They roll up. They roll their window down. And this is exactly how I handled the situation. Hey, how you doing, officer? Listen, if there's something wrong with what I'm doing tonight, I just want to let you know this was just for fun. If you need me to go, I can have this wrapped up in 5 minutes as I'm clinching a bag of cocaine that was handed to me. The cop, and I quote, verbatim, in true New York cop fashion, goes, oh, we don't give a fuck about that. We just want to know how the fuck you're doing it. That's pretty fucking cool.
No shit.
So now, while holding this, they get out of the car, and I'm still holding it.
Sweating, your hands sweating.
And I'm pointing my fucking pointer finger out so it looks like a natural movement.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck with this fucking thing. Like, what am I going to tell the cop? This is not what you think. It's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
This isn't mine. I swear to God. You know what I mean? So now I got to talk to these guys. I'm talking for like 20, 30 fucking
you're
minutes.
gripping it.
And I'm gripping this fucking thing. This son of a bitch left the minute they came, so I'm stuck. But now they're like checking out the inverter. They're looking at this. They're having a good. They start fucking playing games.
Yeah.
So I survived that one. So now you think that was the best part of the story. It wasn't. While all of this is going on, drug dealers, cops, affluent, wealthy, you name it, all the ones.
Yeah.
The whole time I was doing it, there was this homeless guy sitting on the corner. And when he was sitting on the corner, he was watching. And I just can't help myself. See, hey, buddy, you all right? You want to play? And of course, like true humanity, I get this guy to get up and play. And when I do that, people start leaving. It is what it is, right? I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. I do it for me. I didn't do it for them.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing this PlayStation 1. I'm playing Mega Man X on it.
Solid game.
Solid game. And while we're playing, this guy starts getting choked up.
Really?
I say, you all right, brother? And he goes, the last time I had a home, this is the console I had at my house. So I want you to realize how long this guy's been on the street.
You're choking me up right
now.
now.
This was an impactful moment for me. This is where I got real selfish with everything I did because I did it for me. Because that particular moment right there, I realized the magnitude of nostalgia and how important it is.
You're choking me up, dude.
Yeah. I went into that goddamn bodega. I bought 2 tall boys. I sat down and I drank beer after beer with that guy until 3 a.m. Drove home, went to fucking work at 6 a.m.
That's beautiful, man.
And I that was it.
That's a great story.
And that's the moment. That's the definitive moment for me when I knew that I was tapped into something special. I didn't, run with it, man.
Yeah, you can't replicate that feeling.
No,
that you must have had. I mean, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I couldn't imagine not having a home and remembering, like this is what it felt like.
Powerful shit.
Yeah, that's pretty. There's layers to that.
There's layers.
A lot.
There's layers. So that was a good one, man.
Well, that's beautiful, man.
That's when I started making sure that my level of insanity had a purpose.
Yeah. Damn, that's pretty deep. I mean, it seems you love to spread love and passion for video games all over. Clearly, I mean,
just want to have a good time with people.
Given those stories, you know what I mean? The best thing about the internet and the best thing about social media is that the ability to finally surround yourself around like-minded individuals with like similar interests and stuff. And that's when it's truly a gift. Because like you said, you met a guy from California.
Yeah.
He was coming down.
We
the
didn't even
whole
get
nine.
into that. You know, here's a guy coming across the country that we just linked up their DMs and hit it off and had the same passion.
Yeah.
Completely different people. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a total street guy.
But games bring you together.
Yeah, it was the beautiful part of that culture, right? And that has not stopped happening to me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've been in a room with celebrities, literally A-lister celebrities because of this, down to spending my night drinking with a homeless guy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And they're all fucking people to me.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Speaking of celebrities, you're known for throwing and curating video game themed events. How did you get into organizing and curating these massive events that you're known for being involved in? Because I heard a story about you that you raised money for someone in the collecting community's daughter who had cancer. Was this
you do your homework? Man.
Yeah. Was this your initial start that catapulted you into being this event coordinator, if you will?
Yes and no. So
how did this come about?
Well, let's go a little before that, but definitely going to give that moment a lot more respect than this. I made local video game collecting friends. I think this is like 2014.
Okay.
And one of my earlier friends in the collecting world wanted to start his own convention and rented out a small room in the Parsippany Hotel just past Willowbrook over there. Mm-hmm. And I bought 2 tables at $60 a piece, not to sell video games or make money. I just set up a free play area.
Okay.
And I took a whole bunch of consoles from every era at that time, went straight across with TVs that matched. And that was a really cool experience for me. It was a horrible little convention. It didn't go anywhere. It failed miserably. But for me, what stood out was I had this guy who was the same exact age with me, and he was there with like his 6-year-old kid, and they played on the Vectrex, that console I was talking about earlier from 1982, for like 2 hours straight.
Wow.
And I was like, man, this is powerful stuff. I just took 2 generations and entertained them for 2 hours on something that was
special to you.
Literally special to me, but more importantly, at the time was 41. I don't know, math, 7 years. I was 33, 34.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, wow, a 6-year-old and a 34-year-old are being entertained by the same thing. This is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that kind of got me into really liking the sharing aspect of it. Because in our world, there's people who buy shit to lock it up in their basement. In our world, there's people that buy shit so they could sell it for more expensive prices.
Yeah.
Flippers. There's people in our realm that are extroverts like myself. There's people in this world that are extreme introverts to
a lot of those.
Very extremely hard person for a person to come out in public like that. But I didn't see many people that just like sharing. You saw it as the early days of YouTube. You saw it coming up. People are sharing. But I mean, never saw someone go out there and say, hey, man, come play this thing.
No, never.
So
you're the first I've really ever.
That was the beginnings of that. And but the fundraiser for Brooklyn, her name was Brooklyn.
Okay.
Right. And
a special place to you in general.
A special place, and Southern girl. This is about the powerful aspect of it. But I wasn't the only one at the time. Instagram was really tight in the community at that point. Things have changed. But yeah, there was a girl who needed a liver transplant, right? And the parents were on hard times. I mean, you have a young child, 8-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter needs a liver transplant. You weren't knocking them dead,
of course,
in life yet to begin with. They needed help. So my friend who had Lost Attic tattoos that was on Dykeman, it's no longer there. This guy Ray, great buddy of mine, and I just approached him. I was like, "Yo, what do you think, man? I'll give this rare kiosk away as a thank you. I'll see if I can get people to send stuff from all over the world, collectibles. Let's throw this fundraiser there at your tattoo shop. We'll charge at the door. We'll raffle stuff off.
Yeah.
We'll do giveaways and we'll raise some money." It was a humble experience. It wasn't like
Well, it's
It wasn't like I was raising millions of dollars, but we raised several thousand.
It doesn't matter if you raise 10. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, and it was for what it was very successful. But what I really loved about it aesthetically, the heartwarming factor is there, and we did really good for the family. But let's get into the art of it.
Please do.
I was able to take once again that concept of taking gaming and treating it like a fine meal paired with wine, and then I was able to disperse it throughout this really eclectic tattoo shop on Dykeman in Washington Heights, and I was able to really have cultures collide in a really good way. Like it was really aesthetically, artistically speaking, beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have pictures of it?
I do. I'd have to dig it deep, but I'd
love to see it.
And it was great. And I took out really rare pieces for this, and it was on the second floor, and it was cost me like $800 to do. You know what I mean? Like, if you start to think about these things, like really put the human element into it, a lot of the things that I've done, I spent money to do them.
Of course.
Passion. There was no financial gain here. Like everything I've basically done has been at a deficit.
Yeah.
Passion.
I can relate.
Well, yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? It was absolute pleasure, passion. You derive good vibes from it, so you do it. And it was a very rewarding experience. And I had some people come together and help me put it together.
That's awesome, man.
But I had things like a Sega Genesis kiosk there.
Right?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I brought some heavy
gemstones,
some gems, man. And that was the beginning.
Okay.
Right? Like, that really was, because that started to set shit into motion.
Realize what you were capable of, the reception of it with the public.
Get anything done.
You're like, I got this. This is,
I can get anything done.
And you're going to get better every time.
Yeah.
So after that, you've done many incredible installs and events. What are some of your favorite ones that you've organized? I heard one about the ASAP Ferg one.
Oh, that was dope.
This one's really fun. If you could explain to the listeners what I mean by that, because I'm sure most of them know who ASAP Ferg is.
I'm trying to remember his name. What was the guy that passed? The young
Yams.
Rapper. Yeah. No, not Yams. What the hell was his name? Little Peeps. Little Peeps.
Oh, Little Peep. Oh, he was there?
He was there. So it was really interesting because I wasn't familiar with him at the time. And he passed pretty soon after that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that might have been like one of the few events before he left.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really interesting to be in part of that.
So how'd that event come about?
So
were you commissioned?
I got really, I became friends with this guy named Lenny Emery, who I've done a lot of stuff with since then because of Instagram.
Okay.
And New York, lived in New York, originally from New Hampshire. Really California-esque type style dude, DJ, in with Run DMC's kids. They ran in a group called Dope Roots. It was like his world. And, we started talking. He goes, man, I really want to do something with you someday. Huh. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do that too, because I really see the synergy between your world and mine.
Yeah.
And that's how I said it, not to sound lofty, but I meant what I said, and we both saw it. And that event that I had for the girl Brooklyn, I reached out. I said, you said you wanted to do something. I said, so do this with me. I need a DJ. And you're a New York DJ. Right? And no bullshit, like a real, like Oak Room and things like that.
Oh, sick.
At the Box, like gets around. And he owns his own production company.
Oh, wow.
High caliber individual. So he does that with the tattoo shop. So now it's his turn. I want to do a proof of concept. I said, let's fucking go.
And he was on board.
He was on his board. I rented a 25,000-pound truck, which is the biggest truck you could rent without a CDL. And I filled that motherfucker up with gang boxes from the elevator world, full of extension cords.
Man.
I set up, I believe I had, no bullshit, 50 to 60 pieces.
Wow.
Set up. So it was in a factory on Johnson Ave in Brooklyn. This dirty, dingy, disgusting, gigantic factory floor room. And it was dirty in all the right places. And I picked up used oil barrels, pallets, right? Like I really threw it together, man. I threw it together.
Making it aesthetically pleasing.
Made it fit the room. And on top of that, I haphazardly threw as much shit as I can on there. They have this gameplay area. And I got on stage, and it was with Ferg and TJ's was Ferg's DJ is actually one of the, part of J Master J's kid, and I got on stage with Lenny and I looked out for the first time. So here's this elevator mechanic, right? looking out from what it looks like to be on the stage for the first time.
Yeah.
And I looked out and I saw this dirty dust getting kicked up. And I saw all these people jamming on those games and that 100-foot wall at the far right of the room.
Really?
And it was 4 or 5 people deep the whole way down.
Wow.
60 consoles installed.
Yeah.
4 or 5 people deep per console.
That's crazy.
Not a single thing was stolen.
Really?
Nothing was broken. The only thing that broke was my Sega Genesis kiosk in the truck. That blew apart. That was painful. But I did it. I fucking did it.
When you say dust kicked up, was it dirty in
It
there
was
or something?
filthy. Filthy.
Was it like Jones Beach?
Yeah, it was disgusting. I mean, it was a rundown place. You know, I had black nostrils from all the shit coming up off the floor that day. I was disgusting. It was a 19-hour ordeal to do this.
Jeez.
I had a few people volunteer to do it with me. They helped me out. Didn't make a single penny. Lost money and lost a rare piece because it got destroyed.
Yeah, I was going to say, when this guy told you to get involved, was he like, I'm going to pay you X amount, or?
It covered some expenses, but the money wasn't there. And we didn't give a fuck. We
just wanted the experience to do something.
Just to fucking do it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It doesn't sound smart, but I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Smart. I mean, I make, a lot of money doing other things.
Yeah. So this is just like a side project.
There's got to be a reason to get up every day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying what I do is for everybody.
Of course not.
But there's got to be more than just, is it financially smart?
Of course, dude. I blow so much money doing shit like that.
It's fine. But, you are financially smart. That's why you can do it.
Yeah.
You get up every day, you take care of your responsibilities.
Yeah.
But not everything has to be there for that reason.
No, I totally agree. What's incredible about these events to me is the fact that it's like its real sole purpose is to spread, your love and your passion for retro gaming and to take civilians along for the ride with you. And that's like, in hopes to spread love and to grow the community that you love the most. And that's what's awesome about that.
It's a lonely in the basement.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's beautiful, man. I really love how you push the culture and you're constantly trying to bring new people on board that don't know about retro gaming. And
they do now. I feel like we're having this conversation. I feel like it's really blown up. But these were,
it has.
A lot.
It all. And you already brought up that you have like a large CRT collection as well as like a big gaming kiosk collection.
Yeah.
So did doing these events, is that what fueled you collecting them because you would potentially use them for it, or you just loved CRTs and loved gaming kiosks? They take up a lot of room, man. So
yes and no, right? Yes and no.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. I would be lying to say no. I didn't get all those TVs out of dumpsters because I wanted to have 200 of them.
That's a lot.
But I did have 40 before I started this show.
And they're all in your house.
So the answer is yes and no, right? Like, once you derive a true need for it. But, I did stuff after that. And I think that was when I realized what I was doing.
Okay.
And we'll get into that later, what I did post that Ferg, experience. If you are going to be a lunatic, right, with something, it would be a shame if you couldn't find a purpose for it to justify the insanity. Right? Like, no human being should have that much shit in their house. And if you're going to have that much shit in your house, then you have to, especially if you're in a relationship with a minimalist, you better have a good reason why.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
So it's not about financial gain or anything, but it goes back down to like my wife, Kathy in particular, this conversation. Like,
hi, Kathy.
Yeah, hi, Kath. This is who I am. And this, and I'm embracing who I am. And that's what I hope everybody does. It doesn't have to be like me.
Yeah,
There's no
of course.
right way to do it. Be you.
Yeah.
And
that's more important.
So yeah, I definitely justified my insanity.
Yeah.
And then it justified it because there was a purpose for some extra shit.
Do you have a storage unit that you keep most of your kiosks in and stuff?
I do. I started downsizing this year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, definitely.
I could use something.
I had so much equipment that I needed at one point.
Yeah, you need a storage, dude.
My garage, my house, my entire basement.
Full.
20-foot trailer, office trailer that was in Brooklyn at Aviator Sports, and a storage unit, a large unit.
Yeah, insane.
And that was how much gaming equipment I had. I'm not trying to break world records. These are things that I acquired over the years in different various forms.
No, I totally get it.
So at one point, it was, you know, one of the biggest collectors in the world when you're talking about by volume. I mean, there's always someone who's got something better than you.
Yeah.
You know, but at one point, I definitely have downsized. And for me to downsize and the level I'm still at by downsizing, it's still pretty goddamn impressive.
Yeah. Speaking of that, man, there's one collector out there from Australia.
Oh, Joel.
Dude, The Last Gamer is unfucking believable.
Don't know if his collection's still that big.
Yeah, what happened? He was selling.
There was a major flood, from what I understand, through the grapevine, and I think he also may have gotten tired of it. But at one point, I don't know where Joel's at in his journey anymore. He
doesn't post, I don't think, anymore.
I haven't heard from him in a long time, and I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't liquidate most of what he could salvage from a major flood.
Dude, he had everything.
He was probably the Guinness Book of World Record without being recognized at that point.
Oh, easily. His arcade collection was absurd too.
But think about the guys that you and I don't know about.
Yeah.
And this is the really fascinating thing, right? So I know there's guys out there right now that have pallets of sealed rare games. Not a copy.
Multiple.
I know
Sealed cases.
there are human beings out there that don't give a fuck about notoriety.
Or money.
No, they don't. Money's no object, and they don't want you to know their business.
That's true.
Right?
They're just sitting on it.
And I'll compare it to this. I remember years ago, I don't remember the prince. I don't remember exactly if it was Saudi Arabia or the EU, but maybe like 20 years ago, I was watching some random show that I don't remember the name of, but the guy's car collection, I'll never forget.
Wow.
It was so big that he had the gigantic, largest trucks in the world that they use in only specific mines.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's people who just are on a different level.
Yeah.
And they don't go on podcasts.
No, they don't.
So just remember, there's always someone better.
Always. I really love The Last Gamer stuff. I used to watch his videos. Like that room he built with his console room.
He did it right.
Dude, he had that. What was the name of the 64 before it actually came out? It had that other name.
Ultra.
Yeah, and he has one of those prototypes. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
It's really fascinating when you start getting into those one-of-kind pieces and the people get them.
Yeah.
I know I have certain things that are one of a kind.
Yeah, I'm sure. I still have to physically check out your collection. I haven't
It's pretty
done
good.
It you live so close, but we never.
Yeah, it smells like leathery sex down there.
I like
it. Great.
I like it. I'll wear my favorite leathery fragrance when I go down there.
To touch upon what you just started saying, which is we don't have time. We have a hard time linking up. I say this with all of my friends. My circle of friends is no longer millions of people, but a very, very potent small group of individuals who are very like me in that they never stop. They're always in perpetual movement.
Yeah.
And I always say to them, you always hear the apology, man, bro, I'm sorry, brother, I haven't seen you in so long. We haven't, and my line to them is the people you want to be in the room with the most are just as busy as you.
Yeah, it's true.
We just, as long as we keep picking it up like we saw you yesterday, we're good, right? And that's how my relationships are now.
Yeah.
So yeah, someday you get over. Someday we'll jam. I'll never take offense of it. We're adults. Life.
Oh yeah. You got to come over when I have.
This is wild.
If you're around next Saturday.
Yeah, I could be.
Come by December 16th.
We'll go for 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'll have the fire pit going outside. I might put UFC on the projector outside. We'll have a good time.
Al, for the listeners out there, Al doesn't do anything half-ass. We were talking about it before the podcast started, and I might have a large magnitude of shit, but at the end of the day, his is pristine and it's perfect, and he does it right. And if you were in the room that I was in right now, you would really appreciate Al's his personal eccentricities. Where he just sincerely got that OCD and does it right.
Welcome to the Alcade.
Yeah, and he did it perfect. And his backyard is absolutely stunning, and I'm impressed, man, by you. And he earned every goddamn penny.
Thank you, man.
Both of us came from humble beginnings.
Absolutely, man. Cheers to that.
Salute, bro.
So all these events and stuff, it actually ended up turning into a real business. I believe you formed the company Gamestallations?
We have Gamestallations. So Gamestallations was an interesting thing. I partnered with a guy, Kevin Paul, who's another collector, and a very good friend of mine, Dan, who runs Video Games New York's operation at VGMY Soft. Unfortunately for Gamestallation, we really took off, and we ended up at ComplexCon 2019.
Oh yeah,
and we fucking nailed it. We were doing an install for Mountain Dew, and
Really?
and we nailed it. I was sitting on the couch, playing GoldenEye with Swaggy P.
Oh, no shit.
Right? Like that was, and the reason why I bring that up is because he's just an absolute wonderful, normal human being. I mean, we just started gaming.
Oh, there's pictures of it, isn't there? I think I've seen that.
And this is a very key thing that I'd like to make clear to everybody. I don't bring up Swaggy P because he was a goddamn LA Laker. I bring him up because
good guy.
Because he was just a normal dude, and I had a great fucking time jamming with him. And if you ever caught wind of this, just want to say, hey, hope all's good in your life, brother.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe he'll listen. You never know.
You never know. We'll get you there. We'll get you there, Al.
You never know, man.
But more importantly, we nailed it and we had momentum. And that was November 2019. Do I really need to go into why Game Installations hit a brick wall that it just...
we all know.
Yeah. So those of you who live under a rock, let's just say that we had a lot of work that was going to come up, and COVID happened through 2.5 months later. In fact, actually in November 2019, it's safe to say COVID was actually starting to fuck shit up in China at that time. We didn't even know it.
Wuhan, baby.
Yeah, it was Wuhan, but it was amazing because I actually made some lifelong friends now because of that day. Big shout out to Mad Sake. That's the artist, awesome. Hey, artist.
That is your guy.
So we are both chain smoking, beer drinking dudes that just kept meeting outside of the back of this thing. And another shout out to the people over at Chalkline.
Oh yeah, those guys take care of you, don't they?
Well, but
they make some cool shit.
They make some incredible shit. But
shout out Chalkline.
Chalkline, just great people, man. I mean,
I love what they do.
I'm a customer.
Yeah, I bet.
A real legitimate customer. You know what I mean? But my friendships with two human beings in there, and I'll just keep that anonymous. That's our business. Really, because of that event, and it was the beautiful thing, right? Life is a big fishing net if you're really mentally prepared for it. You throw cast this net out, and you pull out some good keepers. And every time I've done something, I had a positive return on that. I met some really great people doing that, but COVID definitely kind of whopped that experience. I could revitalize that concept any day of the week. I'm just my hands full currently.
It's on pause right now.
It's on pause. It's on real pause just because I got the other stuff going on that I'm sure we'll talk about.
Of course. Speaking of COVID, that changed the gaming world forever.
I believe so.
And especially the collecting aspect of it. It's on a decline right now, but holy shit.
But I mean, even the decline, even at its lowest dollar amount today is about
it went berserk
100,000 times more than what I was paying for shit.
It went berserk. Not only just the value, but people just, it went crazy. Pokemon cards, all that stuff just went berserk because people had time.
As much as I like to be a greedy individual and be like, I have a respectable fortune in the basement of my house now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's very unrealistic what happened during COVID.
Yeah.
But I think
it's just because people were home, they were digging up their basements, finding shit. And then people that just had money sitting around working from home, they're like, now it's time to collect stuff because I'm going to be inside all day. Let me start buying arcade machines.
I'm sure I can get into this profound conversation where we're at culturally and socially. And maybe I'll spare everybody that, but I don't think that was a good, healthy experience.
No, it was wild.
I think some people were getting money that they never got before in their life. And some people had a ton of money and they were so goddamn distraught with the fact that the world just shut down that people just start acting like children and buying shit like crazy to fill some void that they had in their life.
Yeah. The value on arcade machines went crazy.
Says the hoarder that's been doing it for 20 years. But
it went nuts.
It went absurd.
It went crazy.
I remember buying, there was a piece I bought right before COVID, just to kind of give people some context of what we're talking about.
What was it?
So before COVID, I bought a E3 is a very big cultural thing in gaming, right? E3 is this big convention that goes on in the Northeast, and a lot of things get premiered there. And in 1993, they premiered Star Fox.
Oh, I remember.
So what they did was they created a a competition cartridge for the Super Nintendo Star Fox. No, because for those who are listening, Star Fox started on Super Nintendo.
Yep, I love that
N64.
cartridge.
And they had a promotional competition jacket, which it was a really nice Star Fox logo on the back.
Yeah.
But it's an incredibly rare piece.
Oh yeah.
The competition cartridge and the jacket. So I bought a extra large with the tag on it still jacket with a pristine copy of the competition. And that's a very rare combination to have. And I bought them, and I think I paid a whopping $1,600 at the time.
That's not bad, bro.
Well, it was top dollar at the time. And this is where I'm at. I used to have these rules. I can only find it at a yard sale. I can only find it at a thrift store. And and then I started realizing there's some things that I'm just not, I missed the window on finding them in the wild, and I'm just going to pay retail so I can have them. And that was it. I paid retail $1,600, and it hurt me to pay retail for it, but I did it. And that was 2019 I bought that in.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was at a convention this September. We're in December 2023. End of September, I saw that same convention. The cartridge and jacket are both $4,000 a piece.
Yeah, look at the markup. And they're getting it.
So my set went from $1,600 in 2.5-3 years to $8,000.
Yeah.
So take that across the board.
Yeah.
That's where the collecting community went.
Yep. There's
games, another one that was crazy for me. And this was really interesting. So there was a company that was started up in 2017. It was Wada Games. And they're a grading company. And I happen to be really friendly with one of the founders. In fact, I'd go as far as to say he's a collecting buddy, good friend of mine. He was based out of Chicago. And Dennis was going to premiere his company at Comic-Con NYC. So I went intentionally to go there to say hi to him. I've actually never said this publicly to anybody, but there's some context here.
Yeah.
How crazy things have gotten. I did a video on my Instagram page to kind of help promote Wada Games and what he was doing. And he showed a 1985 test market Mario Brothers sealed copy. And the seal was just a little sticker on it that sealed the lid.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that this happened to be the only one ever known to exist now. And it happened to be in fantastic condition. I saw it with my own eyes, right? Like this came in on his grading scale at a 9.4, which is close to perfect.
Yeah.
And I saw it. It was close to perfect. I don't know if it's a real 9. I don't know if it's a 9.5. I don't get paid to do that shit. It's all speculative. But he rated it at 9.4, and I saw it with my eyes. So now imagine you had something that is near perfect and one of a kind. And he leans into me, and he goes, I know the seller wants to sell this. I can get this to you. He was looking for 6 figures. I can get this to you for $80,000. We're boys. You interested? I can put in a word and do it. Now, I don't care who you are. I'm not paying $80,000 for a video game. And did I want it? Of course I want it. Just a lot of things I want in this world, And I looked at him, and for the first time, I put my marriage in front of my collecting. And I said, man, Daniel, I really appreciate the offer. And I sincerely appreciate the offer because I know this was a friend move, right?
Yeah.
I said, dude, I cannot justify paying $80,000 for a video game. That game sold at auction for $300 and something thousand.
I remember.
And it made the fucking news. And I had it in my hand, and I could have bought it for $80. Then it sold again at auction. And it sold again, and it topped out at $1.3 million fucking dollars. So just to show you how crazy the market got, I could have got it at a steal at $80,000. Steal.
But if you bought it, you would have kept it.
And it kills me because
you wouldn't have sold
video of me holding it.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. The Wada thing is out of control.
That's a whole nother story. Listen, my friend and the controversy that I went with it are two very different things.
There's more. I saw a YouTube video last week. I won't even get into it, but it's interesting. Good. It's a fun story.
Well, it's difficult, when you're in a world, in a small little pond, right? You know what I mean? And you know that there's people that have treated you good personally, that you have just a personal relationship with. And then all of a sudden you find out there's a ton of drama. And if you want to know what we're talking about, you can look it up. There's definitely
it's everywhere. Just Google Wada Games.
Google Wada Games. But once again, this is my personality. I don't know the facts. I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like I can't prove it.
Your relationship with him is your relationship.
My relationship with him, especially at 2017, because none of this shit even went down.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, he's never done nothing to me.
Yeah, graded games is a funny thing.
It's weird.
And there's people that only collect sealed games, and those are sick motherfuckers.
And I don't. That's the other thing too. Like I'm not even involved in that world.
John Bone has a crazy collection. That
really
dude on
sick.
Instagram.
Sick.
Shout out to John Bone. I don't know him. I've talked to him a couple times.
And I don't know him personally either, John Bone. But good, congratulations. There's no right way to do it.
Then there's
I
that
like
other
mine
kid
dirty
too.
and used.
What's that other kid's name? The N64 guy. He
Kelly.
Crazy Colors.
Kelly, yeah, Canadian.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
His stuff's crazy. His N64 collection is beautiful.
I actually know Kelly very well.
He seems like a very nice guy. Shout out to his name's Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly.
Shout out to Kelly. He loves the Simpsons movie.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
a little too much, Kelly.
What's up with that?
I didn't say you were normal. I just said shout out to you.
Yeah. So since we're talking about collecting and stuff, and since besides these events that you've done, that you obviously started at 20. We've been talking about it, in spurts this whole time. You've been preserving and collecting any and everything that you can get your hands on. Is there any particular thing in your collection that you've been collecting for over 20 years that's really special to you, and any special moment of when you found it?
I have a really cool one, and the reason why I think this is good for a podcast, right, is because it's really cool, like the story. I've got a lot of things that fit that criteria because every day I mean to meet a new level,
of course,
right? Like that's the way that works, right? So yeah, it's something 10 years ago that I obtained 10 years ago was it at that fucking moment, right? So now let's just hone in on how they get to you. So let's talk about a console that I guarantee no one listening knows about.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I think you do. So consoles from around the world. Let's talk about one that came from Taiwan.
Oh, there it is. I knew it.
Super.
I love that one.
Super A-Can. I know you never heard of it.
Never until you.
So yeah.
Until you.
Has a library of 11 games. It was a 16-bit console that was created in 1996. The reason why I bring that up is because by 1996 we were rocking 32-bit Sony PlayStations.
Yep.
So it was basically a rip-off of the Super Nintendo, and like way too late to be like make any sense. But super rare. And it's so rare that I can tell you it's worth $3,000. I could tell you it's worth $10. It just matters on who the person is in front of you.
Yeah.
So and when I was in an art gallery, well, I guess we'll talk about that. I made friends with this girl, Angela, who was into virtual reality and art, and coding. That was her thing. And she asked me a real human-to-human question. I really appreciate it. She's like, I'm going home for a month to Taiwan to see my family. Is there anything you're looking for? And I laughed. I literally laughed. And I said, just like that. I go, Angela, normally I'd say thanks for the offer. Don't worry about it. I really appreciate it. But yeah, there's something. But I really don't think you're going to find it. And I told her the Super A-Can console. I explained it to her. And then I showed her a picture on the internet. I just popped my phone out and showed it to her, and she goes, that looks really familiar. I said, well, thanks, Angela. I really appreciate looking at that. So then 6 weeks later, she went away for a month, and then she gets home. She calls me back a week later or so.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, hey, let's meet up. I actually picked up something from you for Taiwan. Let's meet up. I'll meet you at the art gallery. And I said, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And, my mind really did go to this place. That's really cool of her. She must have found something pretty cool, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
You didn't think it was actually.
No fucking way. So I get there, and then poof, there's the Super A-Can in her hand. She goes, you know why I look familiar, right? I'm still astonished she's got one in her hand. I go, well, why did it look familiar? She goes, because it was under my grandfather's bed for 25 years.
Jesus Christ.
She said it was covered in about 3 inches of
dust.
Taiwanese dust for 25 years. She goes, and I spent hours cleaning it, and guess what? It works. And
what are the odds of that?
So I came with the controller, one video game, one out of the 11, which happened to be the rarest of them all.
Wow.
Right, which is really interesting. And on the cableage and all
the
that.
Box?
No box. But the fact that this thing even works and it's in New Jersey now is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I think that's my favorite story. I do have a really even crazier pickup story, but that one was a wholesome, beautiful moment between human beings.
You told me a crazy story.
Yeah.
I think it involved maybe cocaine.
That was a wild one.
In a different country, or am I mixing two up?
No. But I did tell this story in Colombia, which is ironic.
Okay.
It was ironic. I tracked down the largest collector in Colombia, total stranger.
Hit me. We got time, baby.
Let's clean this up a little. I do have a personal life I have to protect. I go every year to a town called Canastota in upstate New York, which is just outside Syracuse. It is where the Boxing Hall of Fame is. And I would go there every year with my father. And I still go without him. That's how important it is. I feel like that's a thing I need to do for the rest of my life. So we go for induction weekend, and that's when everyone's in town because everyone's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And God, I really got to clean this story up. But let's say that I made a pickup, and I'm going to give you a really abbreviated story with an attractive woman who happened to have a husband. They turned out to be swingers.
Jesus.
And coke addicts. And I was 45 minutes away without a car, and my father was 45 minutes away, which we were starting at 4 hours away from home.
Wow.
So now I'm about 5 hours. I'm in the woods by myself. I've got no cell phone service, and I'm there for video games, and it turns into swingers.
Snow piles.
A fucking pile. I didn't know you had that much coke in upstate New York.
Jesus.
Drugs everywhere, and I'm a trooper. All right. And I'm a trooper because I said, I'm really flattered. She's really attractive.
Yeah.
I'm just not about that culture.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I pointed the cocaine.
I would like to go skiing, please. 1080.
But flattered, but I am here for whatever video games you got. And I didn't realize the magnitude of how many they had. I don't know how this all came to be. But from what I understand, they moved into this house and all this was there.
What?
It turned out to be probably a half of a 16-foot box truck of equipment.
That was just sitting in this house.
We're talking some of the rarest video games of the Super Nintendo library are in it. Like it was truly, it was like an Indiana Jones fucking moment.
Did you grab it all?
Took it all.
Really?
And didn't walk out with a hurt ass. So the funny story, and I am leaving a lot out, guys. I'm sorry. I don't really give a shit who you are. You're not getting all that out of me. You owe me a lot of drinks. But the funny thing about that story is not the actual story. It was when I told this story to the guy in Colombia. So my wife is Colombian. We go down for what I would consider a narco wedding. And we're in Bogota.
Oh, man.
So everywhere I go in the world, I try to find the spot or the like-minded individual.
Uh-huh.
So I just tell my wife, I got some contacts down here. I'm going to go out. I got to go find this guy. Because you can't fucking do that.
That's dangerous.
It's very fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I know. It's video games, baby.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck. I'm in some bad shit every day. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My life isn't roses.
Yeah, of course.
And I go out and I over a 3-day period, I track down the largest collector in Colombia.
Wow.
I find him. He owns 2 pizza places. One is Maxie's Pizza. You should go out there with a bodyguard.
Maxie's, baby.
This dude, Javier, is
slice and a half.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, shit's on my collection.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And we'll get into details later.
And he doesn't post, I assume? Nothing.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch.
Just fucking amazing. But I'm at his house. I tracked this guy down. I'm at his house. So then I link up with him later on that night. And I bring a case of aguardiente, which is that good Colombian hooch.
Yeah.
I bring a case. I come correct. So now I'm down with my wife's cousin, I guess. Me and him drive down there, and we get fucking annihilated. So I'm telling him this story, and the guy Javier, through a translator, because my Spanish is horrible, asks, "Well, did you fuck him?" And I said, Javi, I said, no, I did not fuck him. He goes, I would have. Because when I told him the magnitude of the shit was there, he couldn't believe it. It was hysterical. That one I got a good chuckle out of.
How do you have it set up? Did he have any sort of particular display
So he
case?
owns two pizza places. So he did something very similar that I did with my place, right? Well, he has.
Also, it's displayed in his pizza places.
Well, some of it, just like I did, right? Like you can't. I mean, if I was wealthier and I owned a bigger place, I'd have more shit out in public.
Yeah.
I'd have the whole thing out in public if I could. And at one time I did, but it wasn't my place.
Yeah, I got you.
But he did. He's got two pizza places. Heavy. I know. I hope so. I mean, it's been years since I was down there to see him. I hope it's still in business. But that was cool. But I actually got to go to his house. And
that must have been nuts.
Well, that's the cool. Let's touch back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Like what the power of nostalgia, what it can do. I am a complete stranger.
Yeah.
From another country. And he just opened the fucking door and said, come into my home.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Because he knew, we were the same.
I now that you say that, I have a similar story with complete strangers because I'm not going to go into it. But what you're sitting around
you want to talk about it? No.
I'll just touch on it. The Grid.
The Grid, yeah.
Over any console game, over anything, this is my favorite game. It's an arcade game. To those listening, it was Midway's last arcade game. Came out in 2001. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm not going to get into all the stuff I make for it and whatever.
Well, it is interesting. Let's touch upon it real quick. It is a arcade machine that's based on a futuristic version of football. That the arcade machines are a single player game that literally physically links to another game. So now, do you know that? I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder here. He's got 6 of them.
Yeah.
He's got 6 of these fucking machines linked up so he can have grid night. So he's a little crazy too, guys.
Yeah, it's an arena shooter. It's basically Fortnite before Fortnite came out, but way better.
Way better.
Third person graphics that still hold up to this day, oddly enough. And you could link up to 6 cabinets to play multiplayer, but there's also a single player game like Mortal Kombat. It has towers. There's 6 levels to each tower, and there's 10 total towers. So 60 levels to beat the one player game, but there's also multiplayer. Anyway, me and my friends love it. We play all the time. And, I have monthly parties once a month, every month. And then in August, I have the big party called Grid Fest, where I have food truck, the whole 9, and everybody can come to that. But I have these monthly sessions. There's a flyer right behind your head, actually.
He's not exaggerating. He brings in a food truck. I love this.
Yeah, I had about 80, 90 people here this summer. It was crazy. I made 10 gallons of jungle juice. We had a keg, the whole 9. But anyway.
Upside down pineapples.
I advertise on the internet, on Twitter. If you're in the New York, New Jersey area, come by. Who the fuck does that? But if you really like this game and you're coming here, just like that guy let you come over there, it's a different understanding, and you're not going to get total lunatics like that.
There's reverence.
Yes.
There's a reverence there that you get. And once again, it's not just this genre. I think that's a universal truth, right? Birds of a feather flock together. That doesn't mean they have the same personality. Doesn't mean they're a clone of each other.
Yeah.
But they have this one commonality, and that is a powerful thing when you tap into it. Any version of that.
It is. Any people I've met, I've made friends that I've never seen, strangers coming to my fucking house. I'm giving them my address, and we're friends to this day.
Yeah.
If it was anything else, if I was just like, I'm throwing a party, come by, you're going to bring different people.
I literally have friends around the world.
Yeah.
There's very few countries that I don't have at least one couch waiting for me if I needed to crash.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man.
That's fucking cool.
Especially in today's climate,
It's so cool, man.
You can't hitchhike anymore, you know what I mean?
No.
But that stuff is different.
I mean, I'd hitchhike.
I would never. I would never. One thing that really gets under my skin when it comes to video games is when people love to say, oh, video games are for kids. Dude, I can't tell you how many guys at work see what I do. They're like, oh, man, that looks like so much fun. They're like, my wife would kill me. Why the fuck are you marrying her?
Well, I mean, first of all, just because you don't enjoy something doesn't mean someone else doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very narrow-minded view on anything in this world. You're taking it personally because you love this one genre.
Yeah.
But with that being said, no. It's funny because something really fascinating happened this year because of the Hollywood strike.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, really fascinating. My wife just discovered anime.
Just now.
Right. She just did. It's really incredible because I would put on something, something cartoon, anything, and she'd roll her eyes. And this year, we watched it to the point where I like got her to watch Akira.
Oh yeah,
right. And she says, "Oh my god, I love it." It was
shit.
like one of those things because we watched one anime on Netflix together, and she was like, "Holy shit, it's good."
Oh wow,
try it. If this one thing is not harmful and doesn't hurt people, before you want to obliterate it and talk shit, try to understand it first.
Yeah.
And once you understand it, if you have a strong opinion about it, fine, obliterate it. But did you ever play the fucking game before you said it was for kids?
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. The other thing too is like the music scene in gaming. Yeah. That people don't realize.
It's unreal.
That's unreal, some of this stuff.
Unreal, dude. We're talking about Streets of Rage 2. That is the greatest soundtrack I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's up there.
And there was a guy on YouTube that I found recently. He breaks down how complex that music really is. You got to watch it. It's a great video.
I'm sure I'd love it, but
it's a menace.
But once again, you close the world off to yourself when you take that approach.
Yeah,
to life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm a very opinionated person, and there's things that in this world I absolutely despise.
Likewise,
but I know for a reason why I despise it.
Yeah,
I had to come to that conclusion after experiencing it,
and that's the smarter way to approach things.
Yeah,
it's the non-ignorant way.
Yeah. I mean, I can get ignorant. Don't get me wrong.
We all can. We all can a little bit. Speaking of anime, I've never seen it at such a high popularity in this country until recently.
Oh, well, there's some positives to COVID.
I guess in Netflix probably putting a lot of those on there.
Netflix, and then also locking people in their fucking house for 2 years.
I see anime everywhere. Every young kid I know, crazy shirts, all this stuff, everything. It really took over.
Well, think about how I got a great way to explain how I experienced anime for the first time and realize how rare it was when I did. So the first anime I did watch was in 1989. I was a child. It was my friend's son, teenage son, my mother's friend's teenage son, Dwayne, who showed it to me, and it happened to be Akira.
Oh, okay.
And it was subtitled, right, in Japanese.
Yep, that's how they all were back then.
Well, that's how they all were back then. Yep. But I had to have a human being that in 1989 was aware of this and sourced back to reading things with magazines and no internet.
Yeah.
So now there's no excuse, right? To back to the Library of Alexandria at the fingertips, right? You can experience any form of pop culture from around the world now.
Yeah,
and I will give Netflix that credit, right? Like Netflix has really exposed other countries, Korea.
Yeah, they
got
pushing
shit
the culture.
From Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah,
and that's cool, man. And that's a good thing, dude. Once again, I don't know if every culture is gonna jibe with the next. But it's nice to at least make the attempt that we go.
Yeah, make an effort.
Make an effort,
Do you remember Outer Limits in Clifton?
Oh, yeah.
That was where I bought my first anime growing up.
That's incredible.
They used to have all the Japanese bootleg tapes. They would bootleg it themselves, put a yellow...
This is the commercials.
What do they call those label printers? Mm-hmm. It would print out in the digital text. They would have the yellow stock. It would print out the black letters, and that's where I saw Street Fighter, the movie, the original one.
Shall we go through comic book stores real quick?
I love them. Dude, Joker's Child's my favorite.
No doubt.
That's my favorite.
My friend owns, my high school buddy owns Eastside Mags in Montclair.
Oh, that place is cool with the Mexican colors.
Yep. That's my buddy Jeff from high school. And Time Warp, which I missed their commercials.
The owner passed away.
Yeah, he finally did.
But I heard the guy that took over is really doing a good job with it, I heard.
Well, that's good.
That's what I heard.
Good. But Outer Limits, I love their commercials and I love going in there.
Yeah, Outer Limits was great. Yeah. I'd get all the bootleg VHS from there, all the Japanese imports.
It was awesome.
But Joker's Child always was my favorite because I wasn't a comic book guy. I was more the action figure guy. And I used to get all my Puppet Master figures there. And all that shit. Time Warp, I would get models.
Definitely a big shout out to Joker's Child. Zap's
the best. Shout out to Corey.
Yeah, Corey's a good dude.
He used to carry my pins there, my video game related pins that I released.
I tried buying the X-Men Hall of Fame set when it came out as a kid with rolled dimes and nickels.
Wow.
And they were like, we can't take this.
But it's money though.
But at the time I was a kid, that was my money. I saved it up.
Yeah, it's money.
$50 worth of change. Dude.
There was a bank next door, wasn't there?
I don't remember all that.
Remember the AMP? It had like the. You feel
no,
like you
no,
could walk up it.
This is when they were at T-Bowl Shopping Center.
Oh, when they were over there.
Yeah, that's how long back then.
Oh, wow.
Long ago that is. But they had now it's Whole Foods where they currently are.
You know when I think of Zap Comics and Corey, and shout out to Corey, he's a phenomenal dude, and some of the guys that work there. I always associated that place with wrestling figures. If you needed wrestling figures back then, they had them all, dude.
The late 90s toy collecting scene was cool.
Oh, my God. So good.
It was cool because it actually had teenagers still involved in it.
Yeah. I loved them. I'm a big toy collector. So.
Yeah. I picked my poison. I could collect a ton of things. I think that's my personality. And it actually stems from a good place because I remember I had this realization with game collecting. I always loved antiquity. And at one point, I was collecting coins from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember holding this seeded $50 from the mid-1800s in my hand.
Those are awesome.
And I had this realization that it was someone like me back then who knew that was special. And that's why I made a shift solely into retro gaming. You know, that's why I got hyper-focused into it. It was that mentality of, like, I'm going to die. And some things that I absolutely adore will make it because of people like me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm doing God's work here.
I think you are.
I mean, because we love it, but I am saying that every single form of art that you love in this world or cultural piece, unless it got dug up because it was buried from ash in Pompeii, you know, like, you know, if it was intentionally procured, saved by an individual through their generation, that something was special. So that's why I'm very hyper focused on what I do.
Yeah.
But I could go down any rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, that's the problem with me. I spread myself out too thin.
But you
have a little bit of everything.
You got a little bit of everything, but you have choice, you know, once again, you know, back to who you are, you know, you really do it right. You represent it right. You represent yourself right. You take pride in what you do.
Yeah.
You know, I respect how you handle it. And once again, there's no, if whatever you're doing in the world, kiddies, as long as it doesn't affect someone else in a really harmful way.
Negative way.
And I don't necessarily mean our new terminology of negativity. I mean, like, truly impactfully hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, then there's no right or wrong way to live.
As long as you're happy.
Yeah. If you're, you know, and it'll make you a better person for the world. Because if you're happy, then that energy is going to rub off.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So after all these years, after all these games, after all these, you know, you add yet another accolade to your growing resume. You become co-owner of Breaker Billiards. I mean, before you explain how that even came to be, because I'm very interested in that place is so important to me. You have no idea. So growing up, I always loved I don't even want to call them the little sports, but I wasn't really into basketball when Jordan left. I stopped watching basketball. I never liked football, never liked baseball. I like soccer, but I wasn't really huge into sports. But I love two things, bowling and pool. Love them both.
That's because you're a real American.
So whenever I was able to play growing up, the closest place was Breaker Billiards. And there was a place in Montclair on the second floor. Yeah. That was a cool place.
But legitimately, it is legitimately the closest one here. You know, I knew every pool hall growing up when we were kids. That it is miles away.
I've been to Q Time in Parsippany. Like, I try to go and hit different places. Triangle, which is not there anymore. Dude, do you know about the owner of Triangle?
No.
Dude, he started to have, before the decline of Triangle, he had an escort service.
Good for him.
My friends used to order the horse to their house, and they'd all get boquinos.
God, I wish I had more competition.
But Breakers, to me, was always the greatest ever. But Breakers was the absolute greatest. It was not only, I loved the condition of the tables, I loved the size of it, just the formation of it, even the old way, you know, and it was a good location, and it was the cleanest. It was you had ping pong in the back.
Yeah.
You had all this stuff, and I loved it. But in high school, they got this punching machine there. And this was the first that I've ever seen of that punching machine. And growing up, I was always known for hitting hard or whatever, messing around. And I saw it there, and we were like, whoa, dude, the amount of money we fed into that thing. Then fast forward years later, I stopped going to Breakers. And I got this house, started getting these arcade machines. And I was looking on, I believe I knew you at the time on Instagram, but I didn't personally know you too much yet. And I also had no idea your affiliation with this, but I go on Craigslist.
Which is the 6 degrees of separation.
Yes.
That's another thing that I learned in life.
So I'm on Craigslist and I'm Googling, and for some reason, this machine pops up. So I'm like, and it was for a pretty fair price. I'm like, oh shit. So I email the person on Craigslist and I start talking to the person. It ends up being Lenny.
Yeah.
So for some reason, we're talking about price, and he's like, I have another one. I don't really want to sell it. And he's like, I think I'm going to pull it off. He's like, I just kind of had it because it's taking up space and I can't use it anymore because the bill thing doesn't work, the bill validator, but it still works. I just, I'm having a hard time.
Well, it was an older model.
Yeah.
And, we thought
the Boxer 1 by Chris Sport.
It was kind of getting harder to get parts for it. And we're like, fuck, if we sell because we had 2 of them.
Yeah.
If we sell this one.
So now I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah.
So then he ends up taking it off, but then I'm noticing something in the picture. And I'm noticing the walls and the carpet. So I message him. I go, wait, is this from Breaker Billiards? And he says, yeah, this is, and that blew me away because I'm like, I spent tons of my high school life playing on that very one. I need it.
Yeah.
Like that has a sentimental thing for me.
I've been there collecting. I respected it when you said it.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Yeah, I get it.
And then we worked it out. We got it.
It was cool. It was cool because once again, 6 degrees of separation. You see someone doing something on social media, and then you find out that there's some type of connection. Yeah, it instantaneously just makes you friends.
Instantly,
and it was cool. Breaker Billiards was the same thing for me. So, like Lenny, the guy we dropped, that's my business partner. I walked into Breaker Billiards at age 15.
Wow.
My friend Lenny, about 2 years prior to that, was hired by the owner, Ricky.
Okay.
This tough Albanian kid, knew his shit. And he's been working there since he was 14 years old.
Wow.
So, I
remember seeing Lenny.
We have a lot of history together there.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that Lenny's history is far more interesting than mine. But, here we are. We're both 41. He started working at 14. I started going there to hang out with him at 15. And then we own the place.
Isn't that crazy? So how did that come about, you becoming part owner? Did he own it before you?
So he worked his way up over, he started at 14. Right. So that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Into being a minority owner of Breaker Billiards. Now, what was happening there was Ricky, who was the owner, who ended up passing a few years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
I loved the man. He was one of the first men to treat me like a man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, I think there's a few gentlemen, when they hear that, they'll understand what I mean.
I totally get it.
So I truly loved Ricky. And obviously he was a mentor to my friend and business partner. But what happened was, Ricky started to develop health issues, started to not take care of himself nor the business, thought that, because the Breaker Billiards saw a major decline when they passed the smoking ban,
yeah.
As most pool halls did.
Because they go hand in hand.
They were definitely hand in hand. And so what happened was, you got this young guy there watching, knowing exactly what needs to be done, not able to do it. And that was the scenario that started getting created. So in 2017, when Ricky finally fell to a point where he just couldn't do it anymore, for a very modest amount, Lenny was able to buy him out and become owner. And then in 2018, we kept talking about, that's when the conversations began. Between us, going in for it. I would come in, take my investment end of it to really revitalize the place, and to all respect in the world for Lenny. He's the pool man.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's me, but the elevator version.
I remember him as long as I've been going there.
And we have very similar tastes, him and I. We weren't just friends. We had the same character. You can have a lot of different friends. They don't have to be your clones. But
of course,
certain things Lenny and I see eye to eye on in life. And they were fundamental core values. And it was very clear that we were going to work very well together.
That's beautiful.
I won't fuck his flow up because he knows what he's doing. but it just so happens that I like what he's doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's really how that started. So by 2019, we were going to do it, but there were some concerns due to the new ownership of the building that we weren't going to stay at the same location. So we weren't going to sign on until we knew we had a home. We were able to come to a lease agreement. So in November 2019, that's when I officially came on. So it was about a year of like, we're doing this, but we don't know in what form.
Yeah.
So that's really the long short of it. 25-year friendship.
Crazy, right? How things happen?
Loving the place. And it was great. And we had our difficulties. We almost spent every penny we had to survive COVID. We finished full renovations of the place. And we're not done, but I mean,
it looks great so far.
Yeah,
man.
what we did, and we're currently doing the bathrooms now. That's what you'll never.
Oh yeah,
never stop reinvesting in your business. If anyone's listening out there, always reinvest in what you do. It shows that you care.
Absolutely,
that's the number one thing I realized. But we had some difficulties. We got involved in, renovations, and that process started while COVID was becoming a thing. So we finished them, and I think we dumped like $90,000 into what we were doing roughly, and then we were shut down on the 17th, January 1st. Renovations are done. I'm sorry, was it fair? No, March. I'm sorry, March 1st. Renovations were done. 2020.
And you were shut down.
March 17th, we were shut down, eating fucking Hot Pockets, watching CNN and Fox.
It was a depressing time.
Well,
man.
It was interesting, but we got down to $7,000 in the bank account. We kept our employees on for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Right. So anyone that works for corporate, fuck you. If I can do it, you can treat people right.
Yep.
And even then, we didn't fire anybody. We just, after 6 weeks, we just couldn't pay them anymore.
Yeah.
So then New Jersey, in their infinite wisdom, was like, oh, you can reopen July. So we reopened July 2nd of 2020, when I don't know if anyone pays attention here, but that's a major holiday. It's the 4th. So let's say that the reopening was anemic. And then we were at, I think for a week, like 10% capacity. We're allowed to. Then it went up to 25. Then it went up to 50. Slowly climbed, but it was a fucking painful experience.
Yeah, man, I can imagine.
And then as a business owner, at that time, the regulations were like, all right, what am I supposed to do? Get into a fist fight with someone because they don't want to wear a mask?
Yeah.
But you could possibly penalize me for it. It was a very crazy time. And so like we full renovations, made the place worth what it should have been worth. Shut down, lockdown, craziness with society. We went through some shit really early on, and we've been very fortunate because we were able to survive that and then thrive.
Yeah.
And right now it is a place that I am grateful.
It's jumping.
It's jumping. But it's because we loved the place. And if you're willing to put the place before yourself, as that business mindset, it will resonate.
Absolutely.
And word of mouth is a powerful thing. And back to social media and all that crap in the world, at the end of the day, there's nothing more powerful than someone going to work the next day and saying, we went somewhere and it was exquisite experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That got more people in. So it's been compounding, and we're blessed and we're fortunate and we're grateful for everyone that comes on the door. And we promise to all of them, we will continue to improve.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's nice to see your stories and you going in there on a Friday night. It's fucking
feels
jumping.
It feels good, man.
Yeah, it looks great. The granite countertops to the beautiful new felt, new boxing machine.
Is that velvet?
It was that velvet. In the back, you have what's essentially a video game museum, which it's a sight to see. It really is.
It's I've always had this dream of being able to put together an actual museum. So it was a very small, humble manifestation.
That's beautiful
of a dream, right?
It's beautiful though.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I love it.
It is aesthetically pleasing. People like the look of it.
Oh, it's great in the back. And
it's really cool when you meet someone like yourself that comes in and really appreciates it. It it's instantaneous friendships have been developed because of that.
Yeah.
I'll grab
awesome.
anybody by the hand and be like, let's go talk about that shit over there.
How hard was it deciding what went in there? Because let's be real, it is your collection.
Yeah.
And the public's greasy hands could be all over it.
Two things got stolen.
I was hoping
no. Before you, small price to pay, because in 3.5 years of having it there,
only
two things got stolen.
What got stolen?
There was a Mario Three Brothers Game and Watch that got stolen. Not the end of the world. And then someone did steal one of our Nintendo Switches. But at the end of the day, the experience of being able to share the things that you did on the amount of people that have been in that place.
Yeah, a lot.
It is. We were doing a lot better than Target. Let's put it that way.
Whoever did that, if you hear this, I hope you fucking die of AIDS.
You know what?
I hate when people steal, bro.
I don't appreciate it because I could get angry at the fact that you steal from listen, I want to say small business, but really at the end of the day, any business,
Yeah.
But at the same token, man, whoever's listening, if you did rip something off out of there, I hope you're in a better fucking place now.
Yeah, that's
what
better
I mean?
than what I said.
And if it wasn't for this particular conversation, I wouldn't be thinking about you.
Get chlamydia, you fuck. Did you catch them on camera or anything?
We just couldn't identify what happened, and that's okay. I mean, I really made peace with it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, every event installation I've had some things stolen. But when you start to factor in how many tens of thousands of people have gone past my stuff, it is minuscule because there was things I was doing in the public way before Even Breakers.
Yeah.
So I spent like 1.5 years in the New York City Art Gallery, where I had my entire collection in the New York City Art Gallery.
That's pretty nail biting.
Yeah, it was nail biting, and it was like a drug infested party scene.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. but that being said, I mean, I probably had maybe 15 items stolen from me out of a collection of thousands of pieces.
Damn.
So I would say it's a small price to pay for the things that I'll think about on my deathbed and how much pleasure that I derive from them.
Yeah, of course. Besides the Taiwanese piece, what's your favorite piece hanging up in there?
Man, I got some really bangers there.
Yeah, you do. I haven't been there in a while either, so
I sincerely
gotta come by.
Yeah, I sincerely didn't hold back to anyone that's listening that's never been there. Like, if you're into this stuff, I've got some really killer pieces. My favorite piece that I have in there, I'd probably say would be just the NES advertisement sign, the neon.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice one.
I coveted that shit just because I remember what it was like to be 3 feet tall and looking up at that thing.
Yeah, man.
KB Toy Stores going.
Those days, man. I watch videos and I try to dig them up on YouTube of like KB Toys.
They just
Toys R Us.
the kids just got robbed this generation. I think about the toys we had. I feel for your son. Yeah. Not that he'll know because that's his life, but what decadence did we experience? Yeah. We walked into a Child's World or a Toys R Us or KB Toy Stores.
Go to Toys R Us. You grab the little slip to buy your game, bring it to the counter.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was such a cool thing. And it was like this monolithic experience. And you look up at that tower of
I'm getting
brand new
goosebumps,
games.
man.
Yeah, it was cool.
Even music, going into Sam Goody, Coconuts.
It killed me that Wayne Hills Mall got ripped down. They ripped down the Sam Goody sign. The Sam Goody sign survived for like 20 years, shut down. It was incredible.
You know how many hours I would spend in Coconuts looking through the used DVD section and shit?
CD World on 46.
CD World was crazy.
So just so everybody's clear that is listening, I didn't meet Al till much later in life. It was really, I've done a lot of podcasts and talked to a lot of people, and it is nice to be able to have a podcast where you have this shared experiences.
Yeah.
So I feel like you guys are getting something that would have been just a normal, regular conversation.
Uncensored treat.
Yes.
If you will. Yeah, man. Those days are just, I really, and that's why I made that little diorama I had it made of fun and games, because I constantly want to relive
Instantly fell in love with you when I saw that.
Oh, man, you're the best.
I instantly fell in love with you. I was like, this is just an individual I get. You really embrace your eccentricities.
Thanks, man. I got something special coming. I'm going to be doing the Fun and Games patch. You know how there's like the color separates Fun and Games? Yeah. I'm going to be making enamel pins of that.
That's cool.
And I'm going to be handing them out here when I have people over.
That's really fucking awesome.
So I'll give you a bunch.
Yeah, I'm a grubby son of a bitch. I'll take any pin for free.
I'll hook you up, man. What's been the feedback with the video game setup there? Do you charge people to play or is it free?
So there's like a few scenarios. One, we find that it's most effective when we do like events.
Okay.
So like if there's a party that goes in, that's when it really gets a lot of gameplay. We do charge a pretty modest hourly rate for it if you guys want to solely have it. But most important, and this is the most important, when we are very busy, and thank God we are, sometimes I'll just go, hey, thanks for waiting as long as you want. Let me go fire this console up.
Sweet.
The most satisfaction I get out of it is when I am introducing someone to the hobby.
Of course, just like you've been. This is coming full circle.
Yeah.
With the homeless, on the street
absolutely.
days.
It's really cool when you can have that human moment. So I do. Once again, it can't always be about money.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. Anything that's making money in there makes the place last that much longer and safe. And I'm a true capitalist, and I believe in that. But I just get elated when I have someone who just gives a shit.
Yeah,
and they're interested or intrigued.
Yeah, of course.
You don't have to have everything like I have.
Yeah.
Like you could just be like, I just like this.
And essentially everything's running off of EverDrives, basically, right?
Yeah. So I'm a purist when it comes to myself, right? Like I want the physical copy. I want the experience. But, when you're in a public setting and you're just dealing with that type of volume of people.
You need,
Yeah. So a lot of our consoles are modernized.
To be fair, though, EverDrives, you're running real hardware.
You're running real hardware.
It's not technically emulation. It is, but.
So, like, there's a few pieces we got in the collection, like the NES Minis and the SNES Minis and the Sega
That's
Minis.
different, yeah.
That was something that was official licensed products, but they came out much later, and they're done well.
Yeah, they are.
But then we have products that are like, let's say, for example, our GameCubes and our PS2s and our Dreamcasts.
The SD card and
we got them modernized so that they don't work off a laser disc.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben. Ben Fong.
Hi, Ben.
Actually, Ben might be coming out soon. Come do some work for me.
I'd love to interview him.
Ben is a fucking
fun.
trip, bro.
I don't have any snow for him.
I fucking love Ben. That dude is a fucking trip.
Yeah, he's great.
Ben is 100-pound soaking wet Chinese dude.
He modded my 64.
He's a fucking lunatic.
He modded my 64.
Oh, yeah. He's unbelievable. I fucking love Ben. So and actually Ben did some of the work for Breakers, for sure.
I'm sure.
So what we did with those consoles, and was really interesting, is we were, for those who aren't familiar, you take the CD-based console and you remove the laser optics in there, and we put an SD card, and that SD card has games that are downloaded onto it.
All of them, the whole library.
But what's important about that is that you're adding convenience to the experience, but you're not sacrificing the original experience. Exactly. Because there's an SD card, and this is as nerdy as I'm going to allow this conversation to go. You have the original ROM for these games, and playing on the hardware that it was intended to play on.
Yeah.
So it is indistinguishable from taking that game and putting it in.
Absolutely.
And that's the same with what he's talking about here, which are EverDrive cartridges. They're ironically made from a guy in Ukraine that they're hard to get now.
Yeah.
The EverDrive cartridge is a cartridge that'll fit in most consoles that it was made for, like, for instance, Nintendo or N64. And it would be a cartridge that would fit in that console that actually received an SD card. So you don't have to be a lunatic like I am. And I'm also a source, guys. If you are into this, you want to get into this, and you need questions, you don't have to do it like I did it. You can go out there and have that same experience in a much more minimalistic way.
Yeah. I plan on converting my whole retro setup to those, so you don't sacrifice the actual cartridge.
I have at home.
I'm gonna do it. I only have 64 EverDrive so far. I got to get TurboGrafx. I got to get.
Oh yeah, I was adamantly against at one point in my life with modernizing consoles. Because I'm a purist for the most sense.
Yeah.
But there's some things that are like, it's like, okay,
it's convenient. I'm trying to get like Bluetooth controllers for all of them. I want to lounge back and play.
You made $5 million of this, then it's okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
If you do something that's got like 40,000 left in the world, then I might have a problem with it.
Yeah. But it's good because it saves your actual cartridges, so you don't ruin them, or you could leave them on display and you could play any game from the shit you want.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of fun, and that makes sense. So something historic happened recently.
Ooh.
And this is, I still like get blown away when I think about it and see it. It recently happened with you and you were involved. You were presented with a rare opportunity and you actually started a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe. I forget which one it was.
Which was very poorly received. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it ended, you ended up just funding it yourself, I believe.
Which is everything I've done. You know, and that's the funny thing about the internet. You know, before we get into what you're about to bring up, let's have a little conversation about
Let's
people.
do it, baby.
Don't ever do anything in this world thinking you're going to get approval.
Yeah.
Do it because you do it. Do it because you know it's right. Do it because you feel it in your bones. And don't worry about people misinterpreting your intentions. Fuck them if they don't understand you.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to start this.
Absolutely.
So I get a text message from a dear friend. And just to remind everybody, since we've been talking about New Jersey all fucking night, we live in New Jersey. I get a text message from California. And there's a picture of a gigantic controller.
Oh my God.
This gigantic controller, we'll get into the specifics
gigantic
of it.
isn't even the word.
It was made specifically commissioned and made for a cable channel called G4. Now G4,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, twice, died twice. G4 in the early 2000s was a video game centric cable channel, and it was adored
amazing.
and loved by all. They went insolvent, and then investors thought it would be a great idea in the era of free information on YouTube to bring back this cable channel. So not only did they have the odds stacked against them, but then they went in a kind of a controversial manner. They came back very, very woke. Now, I don't really care what your stance is on woke or based. I'm not here to speak to one of those. I'm a moderate, painfully extreme moderate. I would say that when you ostracize a demographic, no matter what demographic that is, you're probably already setting yourself up for failure for business.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, so let's just say it was a very bad idea with the way they went about it, and they went out of business real quick. But they're still part of the culture. They're still part of gaming history, and everything that they're about, I do believe, needs to be saved. What 20 years says about 20 years from now they say about G4, that's their business. That's the future. It doesn't exist. I don't care. I still believe that their stuff needs to get protected. And so the reason why I bring that up is because some people think G4 is toxic. So in the community, it's not very well received. But I get this message, do you want this controller? And it was fucking big in that picture.
Big.
But it was a picture nonetheless. I couldn't really gauge how big it was. And I said, yes, I want to save this. And then I got the dimensions from the person sending me the text who was not there. And the backstory is the friend of a friend's company just took over the former headquarters of G4, and they just have this thing sitting in their fucking lobby.
Wow.
That was the context of it. So I said, okay, how big is this? They're like 8 feet. I said, man, it's a fucking monster, but you know exactly what I thought. Breaker billiards, expansion. Let's put it in there, fuck it. And I said, stupid Jason. Stupid Jason. You're going to spend thousands of dollars getting something out of here. Mind you, I still live off of my elevator salary. I'm constantly reinvesting in my business.
Yeah.
So I want you to know that everything I've done blue collar.
Absolutely.
And it's like, stupid Jason. You're going to spend like $4 fucking grand getting this thing out there. But it gets worse. I get the exact measurements.
That was only 8 feet high.
The controller is 18 and a half feet long, 8.5 feet tall, by like 38 inches deep. It weighs an estimated 1,800 fucking pounds.
Oh, that's how much it weighs? Oh my God, dude. It's
It
massive.
is. Now, Guinness Book of World Records was unaware of this controller. Right? You have to pay.
Oh, is that right?
You have to pay Guinness Book of World Records to get them to recognize
Of course,
it.
everybody needs money.
Okay, and a lot. I know because I fucking paid them.
Did you?
I don't care about me. I care about this piece. So I call my very dear friend Dan at Video Games New York, and I said, Dan, you want to do this? And you know what Dan said? The worst thing possible. The thing I didn't want him to say.
Yes.
He said, fucking yes. He said, fucking yes. So now Dan and I call our other friend, Kevin, who's another fucking idiot. and he knows he was an idiot for doing this with us because it was painful. Of course, Kevin was on board. So the three fucking amigos doing crazy shit like we always do. We had 4 attempts by 4 different moving companies to pick this thing up, to bring it to Portland, Oregon. We were down to about 48 hours left before they were going to destroy this thing. And we finally found a lunatic from Texas that would drive it up for $7.5 grand.
Wow.
From Glendale, California.
Oh, it was Armeniaville.
To Portland. Oh, that's right.
Shout out to the Armenians.
Shout out to Al.
Wow.
So we had it taken from Glendale to Portland, Oregon, and it landed in Portland, Oregon, mid-September.
That's
and
insane.
We presented it at the Portland convention, which is the largest retro gaming convention in the country. And we did it, and it ended up costing us about 12 grand total.
Jesus.
And so we're in it for 12 grand. And we presented it, and we allowed everyone to do free play because it's the world's largest functioning video game controller. It is in the shape of an NES controller. It functions. We allowed people. I have video on my IG page that you can actually see human beings playing with this thing.
It's wild.
It's fucking amazing. I did it to save it, and now it is currently sitting in a storage unit in Portland, Oregon, because we don't know what the fuck to do with it. And to maintain this thing and to move it, it is a wide load, right? It's a wide load. To get it in New Jersey, it probably cost me 25 grand.
Oh my God.
So this is really important. So we started up a GoFundMe to try to generate assistance with it. And guess what I got? What is this guy just trying to get us to buy him something fucking cool? What the fuck am I going to do with a controller?
Yeah, you can't fit it in your house.
2,000 fucking pounds, right? I'm doing this to save this thing. And I don't mind speaking frank to the subject. I really don't care. I never gave a shit what people think. I've always done this for bigger purposes than myself. Yeah, so technically I am co-owner of the world's largest video game controller. Technically it's sitting in a storage unit, and I don't even want to get started with the day it was to get it out of that.
Dude, what's the storage unit costing you a month?
The storage unit, thank God, it's fucking Portland. It's costing us like $200 a month.
That's it?
That's fucking crazy.
That's
how cheap
nothing.
It is. But it's not an ideal situation.
Well, yeah, because you're going to go how much a year?
What people don't, let's talk about this experience. I got to vent a little. So we had it worked out with a particular event company that they were going to take it, receive it, deliver it, and then take it back and hold it for like a week to 2 weeks post convention.
Okay.
So we could have time to figure out a long-term solution.
Yeah. The
day before everything had to be out of the convention center, which was exactly 48 hours before we were going to get on a plane. In the middle of the night, I said less than that, maybe 30 hours before we had to get on a plane. There was talk that they couldn't fit it in their warehouse, and that we were shit out of luck.
Damn.
So the day before, we had to leave at 4 a.m. the next day. So we were down to our last 24 hours. We don't know where this thing's going. Damn. We find by 11 o'clock in the morning, we find a storage unit that on paper can fit this thing. We drive over to it, and we're now begging and convincing the people who are refusing to take control of the thing to do it, and we found a solution. We get there. The storage facility's measurements were off. On their website, it was off by like 3 inches.
No way.
They can't fit. So now it is 1:30 in the afternoon. We find another one. We get over there. It's going to work. It's going to fucking work. Except this place closes at 6 p.m. We're getting on a fucking plane at 4 a.m. the next day. Flying out.
Oh my God.
We got it done.
That's incredible.
We get it off a 40-foot truck with a forklift rental. It is now 5:30 in the afternoon. There's 3 feet of this controller sticking out. Our phones go off. Bloop, bloop. Tornado warning. Major storm about to come in. Swear to fucking God.
Come on, dude.
There's a guy who lives in Portland now. There's a guy in Portland. He goes, tornado warning? We never get one of those. I looked up at the sky as a drop of water hit me right in the fucking forehead. I looked up at God himself and said, what's next? What is next?
Yeah.
Because we got it in. We got it in as it started fucking pouring.
Jesus Christ.
That was that. So that is, back to passion, back to experiences.
It's meant to be, man.
People are going to tell you to go fuck yourself. People are going to tell you got bad ideas. People are going to think that you have some ulterior motives in life. Things are going to get painful. People are going to back out of what they do. You're going to lose money. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. Do it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it for yourself.
Always.
That was one of the most exhausting experiences I ever had. And that's going off the memory you talked about Complex Con doing that in 2019.
Yeah.
That was 6 16-hour fucking days for me to get that job done. And I loved every second of it. Jesus. Like, go for it. Be an adrenaline junkie.
Tip my hat to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So now it's sitting in Portland.
He's got a great set of hair, by the way. He doesn't wear hats. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
We're going to figure it out. By the way, the GoFundMe raised $200. No. I want to thank each and every individual that personally did that because it means the world to me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If I spent $100 saving this thing, that $200 was the best part of this experience. And I want to honestly say that. And that's why I like talking about these things.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, man.
I can have 100 people not give a shit about what I do. And if there's one person here I can have an honest conversation with, I'm going to keep hitting this back on the head. Everything I've ever done in this world, I've done it because it felt right.
And you were passionate about it.
Find that.
That controller looks amazing, by the way.
It's fucking incredible.
It wasn't fully working when you first had it, right?
No. So
how'd you fix it? What was actually wrong with it?
So much. Okay,
really?
So let's accept what this is. This is something that was custom made to function by engineers that aren't gamers. Uh-huh. So they did a brilliant job for what they did. So there's 3 access ports on the back of this thing, right? Which means you can only access it if it's standing up.
Yeah, how the fuck do you move this thing?
Okay, forklift.
How many?
Well, one will handle it, but it's also fragile.
And you got to get it in the middle, I suppose.
You got to strap it. So the problem with this thing is this thing was meant to be moved once.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's already taken damage just by rescuing it. So, pick your poison. Do you want to damage it and rescue it? Or did you want to understand what we knew behind the scenes, which was it was going to get chopped up and thrown out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, no. All right, I'll take damage and figure out how to do it later. So it's so big that it needs to be custom created. And once again, I'm a blue collar guy.
You're handy also. So.
I'm handy, but not on. I can't be in Portland while I'm making my living.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to get it professionally created. And once you professionally create it, it'll officially become a wide load because it's so big.
It's huge.
It's so big, right? Wide loads, I don't know if people are familiar. I get the fact that not everybody understands how things work in this world. Like, I get that. So I'm going to take the time to explain what a wide load is. A load that is overly sized for a tractor trailer that has an overhang. It's a certain dimension.
Yep.
Once it becomes a wide load, then you need what you call chase cars. You need cars in front of it, that truck, and behind it. And every time it comes to a major crossing like a bridge, you can only specifically cross at a specific time. Like, we are very familiar with it here because we have the George Washington Bridge, most traveled bridge in the country.
Yeah. So
when you start to get into those dimensions of products, this isn't like Amazon shipping. So there's no exaggeration. When I say it'll cost $25,000 to get it to the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $25,000 to get to the East Coast.
All the bodies it needs to move in.
I'd work 2,600 hours this year for Schindler Elevator. It took me all year to save $30,000. You know what I mean? So it's So that being said, these are monumental tasks taken on by very regular human beings.
Yeah,
they go all the time.
That's wild.
They go all the time.
So what exactly was wrong with it again?
The wiring. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, I like those. I like tangents.
Yeah, tangents are good. These are real emotions. It was just basically not functioning well for the way it was created. So we basically ripped out all the guts when we got there. This was one day. We went down there, and that was where Dan comes in. Dan's a pinnacle part of this, right? Dan is the heart and soul of Video Games New York, which is probably the best retro gaming store in the country.
I still got to check it out one day.
Their operation's incredible. They got a small New York storefront, but you don't realize how big they are behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah?
And they have their own game production company now, which is VGMY.
Oh.
So Dan comes out with his mastermind. I'm handy electrically.
Yeah.
Dan is a guru at consoling and understanding the theories and electronics behind it. We made the controller work.
Wow.
Right. And Dan was the heart and soul of that spot.
How much fun is it?
It's fun when it's over.
You need like 4 people to press it, right?
You need 4 people, 4 human beings.
That's
incredible.
crazy.
But once again, that makes it all worth it.
I want to try
all the bullshit
it,
before, all the bullshit at the end. That experience of watching like a 6-year-old kid jumping on a button that's bigger than their body.
Yeah. How does it plug in?
So we got it wireless now.
Get the fuck out of here.
We do have plugs where we could jack right in.
How is it wireless? Like via Bluetooth?
Yeah, we could do a Bluetooth now, but we made it that way. So, and we didn't even talk about that. So technically, this is the world's largest functioning controller. Technically, it's just the world's largest controller. You know, it's also the world's largest wireless controller. Right? And I know what I mean? Like it keeps
going. Layers.
You want to talk about, let's talk about Guinness Book of World Records. Talk about what's involved there.
Yeah, so are they going to publish it?
So we don't know. We haven't heard back from them. So to get one of their adjudicators there, I think it's like 18 grand.
What?
Yeah.
So everybody that's in there they got to go through this?
At some point in Guinness Book of World Records, they became like all corporations. I probably shouldn't be talking shit about them. We kind of need them to recognize us. I know, fuck them.
Well, you're just explaining. You're not talking shit.
Well, I am going to talk a little shit, right? At the end of the day, they got like any business, right, where it really comes down to bottom line, and it was a lot friendlier of an experience, years ago to get them to confirm your record, because it was really about the passion of recording records.
Yeah.
Now it's really about marketing. Like you know that this is good for your business. So, you pay us a lot so we can come out and make it official. Well, this ain't a fucking business. We're just trying to save this piece. And the best way to save it is by making awareness of it.
Get exposure, yeah.
Exposure, right? So we laid out $1,600 for the paperwork. Jesus. Right? And then we sent them a video of us taking the measurements at the Portland Expo. We haven't heard back from them yet, so we don't know.
When was this?
This was in September. It's September 30th, I believe.
Jesus.
That's when we did.
Why the fuck is it taking so long?
Who knows? And it doesn't matter. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter is because at the end of the day, the world record holder is about 5 feet smaller than this thing is. Like, there's no doubt that this is the current world record. This is the one. And I just elated and tickled pink that I could be part of this process.
I can't wait to see it published, because it's obviously going to happen.
Also, that's another fact you keep talking about, published. Just because you're a record doesn't mean you're going to end up in a book.
No way.
You'll be an official record, but they pick and choose what they think is the most interesting.
I mean, that's gotta be interesting.
I would think so.
Big picture.
I would think so, but then again, it might.
It's all politics.
Well, it's also a little humility too. Just because I love something doesn't mean it's the most fascinating thing in the world.
Yeah, but I would think that would qualify.
What I find fascinating is the absurd nature of my life. And I think that's the funny thing. What have I derived from this? I can say I have the world's biggest of something.
And you did something nobody's ever done before.
It's a one-of-a-kind of experience, and I've got it.
Well, I hope the future of the controller is a positive one.
It's all positive.
I hope we can get it here on the East Coast.
It's all positive.
That's what I really want. I want to hear.
I want it on the East Coast. But what I like to do with it, and this is the wishful, boyish thinking I have still, the light in my eyes that's still kind of there. I'd love to get it to go state to state.
Yeah, to different shows.
This is an American product going across the American continent. Now, I'm not saying I'm, like crazy nationalist here, but I think it would be really cool to have this product go to every different region in this country and just remind people that, like, you're here to have some fun. This is a good, positive experience. Yeah. It'd be nice to see something nice in the news, even if it's silly and stupid.
Dude, please tell me you filmed some of this.
Oh, we filmed a lot of it.
Okay,
filmed a lot of it. Yeah.
There needs to be a documentary on it.
I mean, that'd be great if there was a documentary, but at the end of the day, it's 3 out of shape, middle-aged schmucks.
You're featured in a documentary that everybody should go watch called Rarity, and the second one's coming out. I actually own the Blu-ray of the first one.
You're cool, man.
I bought the whole. You should sign it for me.
All right, I will definitely sign it. I sign like I'm lefty, and I sign like a toddler, but I would love to ruin the cover.
Sealed.
That's fucking awesome.
Your parts are some of my favorite.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you're well articulated, and you're a good speaker, so I enjoyed your parts of it.
We did just shoot for the sequel.
I can't wait to watch it.
I do feel a little off kilter. To be honestly speaking, I don't know, man. I'm not always ready to fire off.
I understand.
I'm a normal human being. We have
Yeah.
ebb and flow and how you're feeling about life and where you're at. And I've had a banger of a year.
Yeah.
But it was
Do they talk about this? This was after.
this was after.
What about those guys? They don't want to cover this?
I mean I think it's just really at the I'm become very good friends with the guy.
Have you ever pitched the idea?
We talked about it. It's something. I mean, it's out there, but once again, life's about timing.
I know
this guy's moving across the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's, things happen when they're going to happen. They never happen as fast as you want them to happen. They may never happen at all.
Yeah.
What I have learned about it, we're talking about personalities, right? About earlier prior to the mics being on, I talked about the things that I appreciate about you and how precise you are about the way you conduct yourself and the things that you find interest in, and you do it right. Like you really
Thanks,
go out
man.
and
That
do your
means a lot.
homework. I am a fucking tornado. And I've realized that my life is going to be when the universe tells me that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I got you.
And that's my prerogative about everything. I've got zero control on what I can achieve.
I got you.
Right. I just got to be willing to do it.
Yeah. Well, I hope the best for it because it's good. Anything else in store for you, Jay Baam, in the future? Any plans brewing for the pool hall?
We got big plans for the pool hall. The question is, are we going to be able to achieve them? I feel like I guess I should just be frank and candid about that. So, we do believe the next phase for Breaker Billiards is that we do have food and beverage.
Wow.
Right. Because we are basically a pool centric business.
Yeah.
So we have over time survived the hurdles of COVID and, revamped what was a dying business.
Yeah.
And then we ended up buying a liquor license. And now our next big hurdle is to get rezoning so that we can utilize those things. So we have a big thing coming up in January.
Oh, wow.
Where we'll actually be in front of the municipality and the zoning board and see if we can meet the criteria that we can rezone. And if that's the case, then that would be sky's the limit for the business.
Well, best of luck. I really wish, I'll pray for you. I think you should be all right. I think you should be all right.
I do appreciate the power of prayer. So keep it coming, man.
That place is important, man. That's an historical. I told you that's a very important place to me in my childhood. So I really hope.
It's been there. It's an institution. I'm just the caretaker of it now. It's been around for 32 years. It's my obligation to make sure that it's there well beyond my lifespan.
Yeah, I got to come by soon.
God willing, right? Like
I got to come by. I love that place.
Doors open.
I love it. It's just the best pool hall I've been to.
And if you're a hardcore gamer, by the way, collector, I might throw you a discount, so you come find me.
Well, thank you for coming, Jay. Please plug in all your socials where people can find you, contact you, and anything you.
I'm a pretty simple person to find on social media. I have no dreams of grandeur, so I never went too crazy with everything. You can find me just on Instagram, JBAM Official, JAYBAAM Official.
Ooh.
And if you have any questions about anything that I'm into, I'd be glad to go out of my way to help you out. My DMs are on to everybody. Literally. I will respond. I'm just a extremely regular human being that happens to be slightly crazy in his private life. So feel free to hit me up. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you for coming, man. It was really a pleasure to have you. Happy to finally get you in the seat. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you, man. Have a good one. And we got to do this again sometime.
That's a deal, man. Maybe we'll do it at Breakers.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Take care.